Wake up every morning. Slipping through the door frame. Whoops. Can't tell you the future, but I know that it's coming.
Yellow.
Heyo. Microphone was sideways.
Yeah, what ended up happening with the microphone?
I just had to turn it way up now. Like, I don't know what happened, but the volume on it just changed. Like, even right now when I'm talking into it, coming in really loud.
Sick. Can you tell I've been sick for a fucking week?
Yeah, why you been sick? It's because you're half vaxxed. We'll get into it.
Sinus infection, bro.
It's this half vax game you're playing.
I have a radio voice.
It's this game. Smelly cat. Smelly cat. Alright, let's finish setting shit up. Botrix better be already on. It's always like, hey, make sure you deactivate. Pfft, never. I want to get TTSs in the middle of my sleep.
Am I echoing at all?
No, sounds good.
Okay. Yeah, when I wear these headphones, they're open back, so sometimes you can hear the
reverb.
headphones.
I got a text. Where am I going? Oh, Trovo.
Half vaxxer.
That's you. Ooh, do we need a vibe thing? No,
Is there a Rittenhouse verdict?
No, not yet. Should be. If I listen to the media, he should be guilty as shit.
He is.
What's he guilty of, you think?
Self-defense.
Isn't that the sad thing where it's like, we watched the Rittenhouse. You and I watched the Rittenhouse like documentary that somebody sent us, where it was all of this extra footage that had been compiled that night. So if you've never seen that, then yeah, you probably just believe whatever the news tells you. And the news tells you that this guy went to a BLM protest and just
started fucking firing.
Which also is such a weird belief, because if this guy really did show up with an AR-15 assault weapon with the intent to hurt people, I assume he would have killed more than two. Like, it just seems like, oh, this is the weapon that everyone's really afraid of. He would just be unloading and killing everybody, but he only kills two people and injures one. It's really tough for this guy to be painted like this. Oh, he had this plan that this is exactly what he was going to go do. Because if that was his plan, what a flimsy plan. Hasn't he seen, I know I've asked you this before, but hasn't he seen Rampage, That movie where the guy goes on like a killing spree and orders supplies and he has a perfect plan to get away with murder. Like there are ways to go on a shooting spree. Rittenhouse, if that was the plan, it was really shitty.
Yeah, are they trying to argue that? Are they trying to say, or is that was just the media?
The media is trying to say that. The prosecution kind of did, from what I heard today, just listening to the radio and stuff. It does seem like they are trying to paint it as, how can you be afraid of somebody coming at you with a pistol? You have an AR-15. It's like, that's not really how guns work, though. Like, just because if I go to sleep with a bazooka and you come in with a Walther PPK and kill me, the argument can't be, well, he had a bazooka. It's like, no, there's intent. There's people. Apparently, the guy who survived has some sort of a criminal record. So this whole thing is very,
I think all of them had a criminal record, didn't they?
The whole thing is very wonky. It's just when you hear the arguments, it really is strange. The media is 100% like letting you know that this guy. I guess we've already started. I just be on screen. The media really wants you to believe that this guy is. Well, this lawyer, by the way, is like the dumbest person. Did you see him with his finger on the trigger in the courtroom, like showing everybody, like, this is the gun? And it might have been, maybe it was you who said that in the group chat, but it was like, did we not learn anything from Alec Baldwin, like literally a month ago, about proper firearm safety and like, hey, maybe don't do that to. Like, I get it. It's scary if you're in court and some guy starts waving a gun around, but it's also. Maybe that's a great idea. Look how afraid you all are.
Yeah. You better fucking vote guilty, motherfuckers.
Yeah, like that.
Yeah,
maybe
he
that
had
was
no
his plan.
safety measures there at all.
Yeah, that had.
There's no chamber flag. The chamber wasn't open. Finger on the trigger, pointing it at people. Great.
Yeah, it's just again, what I've heard from this trial is the strangest questioning, the strangest. Just they even got the guy who survived to admit that he was actually like walking down, like he was able to admit that what Kyle did was self-defense. Like everything that has happened it just seems like they're trying to botch this trial so there will be another riot. And that's what seems weird. It seems so like they've already deployed the 5,000 people. You've heard that, right? They already got like 500.
National Guard.
The National Guard is already there. They're getting everybody there because everybody knows what's going to happen. Just like what happened when Breonna Taylor, like that trial didn't go the way the media made it seem like it was going to go. Like the media plays having pundits on TV just seems like more of a problem than anything else now. Like Spectrum News is kind of nice because there's no pundits, at least when I watch it. It's like one person who tells you this happens, this happened, this happened, this happened. News stations get into trouble when they have a bunch of people who sit around and are experts, and they come out and they say like the most insane things that even if they're not true, everyone's going to believe it because it's the news, and the news will show graphics that like support it. Like everything about like just everything is so like I don't blame people for believing that he's guilty because I have heard some of the clips where they say people are just calling him a murderer. Like they're not even saying a young man who's on trial for shooting 3 people, killing 2. Like it's straight up. No, he went to Kenosha. Like I didn't even know this. I found out his dad has like a business downtown in Kenosha, and that's one of the other reasons why he was there. He wanted to make sure his dad's business didn't get burnt down. It turns out the gun might have been purchased in Wisconsin, so all of this, he came across the border with a weapon. Like even that might not even be true. Like everything that we've been told, I don't know what's true, what's not. So I have to believe what I hear in the court. And if I believe what I hear in the court, why is this trial even happening?
Exactly. That's the world we live in, man. I don't know, fucking Ricardio. That's what I was saying earlier today. Black people don't give a shit about white on white crime. He shot white people. Why are there gonna be riots?
Yeah, and that's the other thing is this guy, like the news has said several times, he's clearly a white supremacist. He's clearly a racist. But they're just saying that with no evidence, with no facts. It's just.
But he killed white people, so how does that make sense?
Yeah, he killed white people, and sure,
because they were supporting the black people. That's why
he was at a Black Lives Matter protest, and even when they had Drew Hernandez on the stand, they were trying to tell him like, "Hey, you're painting these protesters in a really negative light. You're making it seem like they're all Antifa and they're all rioting." And Drew Hernandez is like, Just yes, yeah. Watch.
Yeah,
Like
that's
what
what
they
it
are.
was.
I'm calling the rioters rioters. Yes, you're right. So it's this weird game, but just from watching the little bit that I have, and then there's people like Cedric Alexander, who's a professional wrestler, LeBron James, who has not watched a minute of this, but just kind of wants to peep in. And everyone has their decision already. Like there's nobody that has watched this trial. Does that you know what I mean? Like nobody's watched this thing because everyone is. If you're if you followed it from the beginning and you're on Kyle's side, you're going to be on Kyle's side. If you followed it from the beginning and you're on the Black Lives Matter side, you're on the Black Lives Matter side. There's no like law student. There's no person that's like maybe they're the only ones that can be impartial, but it just seems like there's no people that are able to put aside, okay, this is already my pre-belief system. Nobody can get rid of that. We all have our thoughts already. So now it's just a matter of convincing these 12 people to acquit him. And the fact that they're still deliberating after a full day of deliberation kind of makes me think there's a chance that he is found guilty, even though if we can make this hashtags and headlines, hashtag not guilty was trending worldwide.
What are his charges? Because I know they dropped the one weapons charge, but I know there's 5 left. They're not just all murder charges, are they?
No, I have no idea. Like that's the other thing is I have no idea. I think I just.
But wait, before I forget, what I was going to say about the news. If you watch the news because you want to know X person's opinion, that's not the news. If you care what Tucker Carlson has to say about something, you don't care about the news. You want their opinion.
And
that's what all the news is.
And that's what I mean by pundits. Like these pundits that come on screen and they have, oh, well, here's my take and here's my show and here's my ratings and here's my sponsors. It really is like you have to find a way to wade through all of that. You got to get that out of your mind because just like I said, if you listen, like you're saying, if you listen to Tucker Carlson, obviously you're going to 100%. Before this trial even started, you had your preconceived notions. Like you knew this guy was going to be innocent. There's no way he would ever break the law. And then for the other side of things, you look at, this guy went to a Black Lives Matter protest. They were protesting the unrightful shooting of Jacob Blake, and this guy showed up with a gun and killed 2 people. What the hell's his problem? Like that's how they look at it. That's how it's being spun to them by all of their media outlets, whether it's MSNBC, whether it's CNN. Like it's just whether it's even the Daily Show. Like some of this, my buddy Jason loves the Daily Show, and he sent me a clip of Dan Crenshaw on the Daily Show, and I was kind of thinking, you know what, this is not what I remembered it. This actually seems like a pretty legitimate show, and after like, oh, you know what, maybe I'll check out the Instagram, and I go on the Instagram, and it's just the most not at all what I watched. Like I watched Crenshaw and I watched Trevor Noah have like a real conversation about the climate. Just about politics, and it was nice to hear both sides. And then when you follow them on Instagram, it's like, no, like Republicans are dumb shits, and we're only going to show you the worst things that they all say. And it's the same on the other side. We're only going to show you the worst thing that liberals say. It's just a really wacky world to live in. Having so much access to media and information might be the worst thing, right? Like it just now everybody's an expert, and the fact that LeBron James has so much persuasion, like it scares me.
Did LeBron make fun of him for breaking down too?
Yeah. So well, and he was
fuck him.
So he was
I
having
hate that guy.
He was having like a panic attack. People were trying to say he was bawling.
That was legit.
I don't know if he was like bawling, like crying. Like I think that's the issue LeBron was having. They're painting it like he's got tears streaming down his face and he's a crying mess, but it wasn't necessarily like that. It was more of a
panic attack.
Yeah, he was
exactly
having a
what
panic
you
attack. He can't breathe. He can't really
Can't talk.
And that's what I got from
His
it.
hand got stuck up here.
But there were people. There's people that were legitimately like screen capping and taking like recording their screen of him. I guess he was like freaking out, and he looked over at the judge for a second, and everybody was like, "Oh, he's trying to see if the judge is buying it. He's trying to get the judge on his side." It's this weird, like everybody's for him, and this goes the other way too. If it was a black person on the stand and he was on trial, and it would be a whole different narrative. Since it is this white person, it's so much easier to just paint this guy as the villain.
Did you see the black school shooter that got let out on bail after a day?
Yeah, I saw that. They even had like a party for him when he got home, and they're trying to say he was bullied at school, but being bullied at school isn't a free pass to go shoot up some
Aren't
people.
all school shooters fucking bullied at school?
Exactly, 100%. Like Klebold and the Columbine kids absolutely were bullied, and it's well documented. Elliot Rogers, who shot up UC Santa Barbara, was, no girls ever kissed me. I'm 23 years old and I'm a virgin, and that drove him to killing people. So yeah, every school shooter can claim the victim. There's no reason why. Yeah, you're right. Why? How come he gets off? And that's a real thing that's been going on. There's another story, another headline, if you will, of somebody who got arrested in New York on like a felony charge, and they just let him go, and then he killed some people. He killed like an Uber driver. It's like, Jesus, like I know we're trying to break the statistic of, oh, we can't incarcerate any more people of color, but you can incarcerate murderers still and people that have felony charges. It's not the people, the wrongly incarcerated people of color. You could argue crimes like marijuana-related crimes, like stuff like that, like, oh, they're in jail for their third strike on having too much weed. Like stuff like that, sure, I agree with prison reform and getting those people out. But on the other side of things, where, no, you can't just commit whatever crime you want. You can't be these shoplifters that we see in San Francisco and Seattle. You know what I mean? Like, I don't get how that's still being allowed to go on in those cities.
Well, I heard it on freaking Rogan, but did you hear there was like a gang shooting in Chicago and they didn't press charges? They called it like a mutual.
Yeah.
What did they call it? A mutual.
No, I know what you're talking about. It was like a mutual act of violence, like almost like when you get in a bar fight. Like that's what they were trying to equate it to. The law they were using was, oh, they got into a fight, but it was mutual. Like everyone agreed to get into this fight. Yeah. So now what you're doing by setting that precedence, you're saying, hey, if you get in a gunfight, it's okay as long as you can all show evidence that it was mutual. And if one day a little kid's going to get killed, I think even Rogan said that. Like if a little kid gets shot, yeah, it's insane the world that we're watching. I don't get it. I really don't get it. Like when you hear like guns are the problem, and then these two groups of dudes are shooting each other, and it's like, oh no, they're totally fine. Like what?
It was a duel. It was agreed upon.
I challenged you to a duel. We agreed that this would happen. So yeah,
do they still use the gloves though to slap them in the face first?
It's got to be. I don't know what they're doing right now. It's just policing is impossible. You have Hawk Newsom in New York threatening with violence. If you bring the police back to New York, we're gonna kill people and all this. It's like, whoa, that's a little bit far. That's a little bit much. I can't see. Now look, again, there's people like Geno out there who just hear the term Black Lives Matter and they go, yes. It's like, yeah, well, sure, we all would do that. However, we've watched and we've actually seen what this movement has done. We've seen that the money that's been donated to BLM hasn't really been poured back into the community. So what was the purpose of all of the looting, all of the rioting, the people that have been kicked in the head? I'll even throw Rittenhouse in there. He killed 2 people. Those 2 people are victims of this whole thing. This whole 2020 of let's get out, let's protest, let's riot, let's let people know we are not going to take it anymore. What benefit has come from that?
I would say nothing. I don't have an answer for you on that one.
Yeah, there is no answer. I mean, that's the sad thing is that I legitimately don't know what the answer was or what benefit came of it. It's really, really heartbreaking when you look into it and when you really, because yes, I agree. Black lives do matter. I mean, that's not an insane notion, but when you open a charity called like, I'm going to stop cancer, and then you just riot and protest and you never actually stop cancer, at some point, somebody's got to be the ones to come in and go, no, this is bullshit. And no one's really doing that on the other side yet. Like it's still looked at, like the fact that they're still trying to call what Kyle Rittenhouse was at a protest is just beyond me. Like the flaming buildings in the background and CNN saying this is a mostly peaceful protest. It's comedic. Like it's like a Monty Python protest movie.
Are there still protests anywhere happening?
Woke TV on Twitch has not been active in like almost a year. So I think it's settled down. Every once in a while you'll hear some smatterings. A lot of stuff now is anti-vaccine mandate protests. So now it seems like the other side's coming out to play. The Let's Go Brandoners are getting together because they don't want to get the jab. So And hey, I kind of agree. I think these mandates are a little weird. I think the idea that you can force everybody to take medicine is strange. Like, what if they just said, hey, marijuana is extremely good for you. It has all these healing principles. It's really good for inflammation. Everybody needs to smoke a bowl a day. Like, I feel like there would be people that would still kind of rebel against that. So same with Advil or Tylenol. Just because something is good for you or like everyone should do it, I don't think you can ever make everyone do it.
Well, we make everyone pay taxes.
That's true, but that doesn't. But that's like automatic. Like, if I walked into work,
Taxes and death, it's automatic.
and
That's
you
all
just
got.
jab me in the arm, you're like, oh shit, oh it got me. Like then that would really, yes, you
Like
win.
you're at a Travis Scott concert.
Oh, we didn't even talk about that. We weren't even around. You love this Travis Scott guy. I think he sucks musically. This concert though, it's strange. There's people that are painting him as a villain, and then other people that are painting him as this. Oh, he didn't mean for any of this to happen. Because obviously there's concerts where he has been like, fuck that person up right there. I don't think it was this concert that he said that, right?
No, and there's video of him like stopping in the middle of the show and saying, "Hey, there's a person passed out here. Go help him." I don't know. How much can you really tell when you're up on a stage and there's that many people out in a fucking crowd?
No.
And they're saying, "Well, we were yelling at him to stop the show. He's on the stage with speakers fucking everywhere around him, like he's gonna hear anything."
And everyone's yelling at this guy. Yeah, like the whole place is yelling for him. And even if they're saying stop the show, he's like, "I ain't stopping shit, motherfuckers!" Like it's going to be impossible to stop him from doing anything. So, and I don't know if I could blame him for that. At the end of the day, you still need to hold people accountable for their own actions. Was he?
Well, is he in charge of security and crowd control? And his job is to perform.
Yeah, he's supposed to get out there and sing a song or two. And it is sad that one of them was a kid, but also, can I be this parent? I'm not taking my kid to a Travis Scott concert. I don't even know this guy's music, but I just can't imagine like a 9-year-old boy coming up to like, "Hey, Dad, I want to go see Travis Scott in concert." And I listen to like 5 of his songs. I go, "No, you're not going to go to that." Like, or if we go, we're not gonna be in the pit. I don't want you to get a contact high at age 9, and then this is where you find out. First of all, I'm probably gonna say like, "Son, you don't need to listen to that shit, okay? Like, we need to change your music taste a little bit." I'm gonna be the dad that turns my kid into Malibu's Most Wanted. I'm gonna try and get him away from rap music, and that's gonna make him just love it even more.
I mean, Travis Scott's from Houston, man. He's right around there.
He's a local.
I can hook you guys up.
He's a local. There's no need. I have no interest in like getting.
I mean, even isn't Posty? Didn't he live in Dallas for a while?
He lived in Southlake. He lived right around the corner. There's a bar here called Chill. That's where he still goes there whenever he's in town. And obviously it's way different when he's there. They totally change the vibe of the place. They make, this area
It's not chill anymore.
Yeah, this area is for the huge celebrity that's here tonight. You guys can all go outside. It's like, oh, okay. Like, that'll work for us. But I agree with Rizzo. I think that rap music is just awful anyway today. Like, it's even when I watch Raw, if I can make this about wrestling, it starts with like that NF rap song that I really liked when it came out. But maybe it's just because I've heard it a million times, or just because I hear rap music and I go, okay. And none of it seems good anymore. Nobody has the same struggle they had when we were kids. T.I.'s not in the trap anymore.
Well, Snoop was just on Rogan, and he played some of his new music, and I was like, this sounds like everything else on the radio right now.
Well, and especially like when we were younger and you would hear these rappers that were coming up and they were struggling, and they would have a couple fun dance songs, but their music was awesome, okay? They were coming up. Now if you're coming out of the trap, and this is a couple of years ago, but I'm like, "Hey, what's up, hello?" Like, is that really this?
Like Fetty?
Is that this guy's life though? Is he? I'm around with my baby. Because it just felt like when you listen to T.I. or Ludacris or any of these rappers, it seemed like they were doing that rap to just get out of they could do that rap in public and their friends wouldn't make fun of them. I can't imagine Fetty Wap walking around with his boys going, "Oh my God, what's up, hello? Do you really it?" Like, I just can't imagine that. Is that how it happened, do you think?
I mean, fuck. I don't know. It's got to be, isn't it? How do people like that get found now? They're SoundCloud rappers?
They got to be sound. Yeah, you post it on SoundCloud. You only let your friends that are really close hear that. Okay. Other than that, yeah, that stuff's for you and you alone. But every time I hear that, it's so when I hear that and even when I heard some of the music of Travis Scott, like when I watched the Limp Bizkit Woodstock video, and give me something to break, and this place is flipping out, everyone's losing their shit. Yeah, I can understand why there was a riot or why people got fucked up during that song, because that song rocks. But when I watch some of this Travis Scott footage, and he's like singing into a microphone, and he's got his auto tune on, it's like, who's getting fucked up to this?
You're fucking looking at him, bro.
I don't get it. And hey, look, it's obviously a big hit. All right, they're selling them out, but there's shitty stuff gets trendy now, like Island Boy.
Boomer is all it is.
I'm a boomer.
Oh, Island Boy. What is that?
I believe it's a TikTok. We talk about trendy things. I believe that there is a TikTok going around about the Island Boys. And it's just, hey, we're going to be ugly and ridiculous. And this is what I'm so afraid that this could be my son. Like, how do your children get this way? You know what I mean? Like, what happens as a parent? What happens as a parent where you, like, one day you check in on your son and, like, this is what he's become. He's become an island boy.
You're either not there or you beat the fuck out of him too much, because a little bit's okay, but not too much. Or you gave him a cell phone when they were too young.
Like, even you have tattoos. And I'm like, hey, I love your tattoos, but if you had this chest shit that these guys have, I'd be like, Zach, we can't hang out anymore. Like, look at these fucking guys. They just look terrible. If your hair was like this, how did they get to this point? Like, the guy with this little keyboard over here, he looks pretty normal. Long hair, don't care. No tats. He's got
trumpet.
He's got a trumpet there. Like, everything about him seems okay. I look over at the buddies on the other side of the screen here, and let's just listen a little bit.
Wait. Before you started, do you realize what the normal-looking guy's name is?
It says Island Boy.
No. Before that.
Oh, the Kiffness? Is that his name? The Kiffness? What does that mean? Is that a term that I should know?
Because they're the Island Boys, right? So he's the Kiffness. What the fuck is that?
I have no idea what that means. Is that a new term? Is that another TikTok term? What's up?
Come on, catch the buzz, feel the sting.
We're live on Twitch, and Tyler Spida is the host. Thank you, Tyler Spida. I've been messing with this microphone. It sounds a lot better in my ears now. How's it sound?
It does sound better.
Okay.
What did you do?
I turned the gain. I don't know how it turned on again. I'm going to assume that a 3-year-old came in here and twisted that knob. Turn that off. Got that all the way off. Don't need that. No need for that. So let's take a listen to the Island Boys.
Cause I'm an island boy, and I've been trying to make. Oh, I'm an island boy. I'm a just island boy.
Oh, there's a beat to it?
Island boy. I'ma keep that done. I'll be just staring at the sun.
Now, we have to paint a picture because I assume that people are driving in their cars. This guy's missing teeth, it looks like. His hair, how would you describe his hair? It's like Cam Newton, but he's white? How would you do this?
Yeah, I guess it's a Cam Newton, but Newton either has it up in the bun and it looks crazy but not stupid,
right?
Or he's got it just down. These are thick dreadlocks sticking straight out from the scalp in every direction.
What are your thoughts on face tattoos? Like, if I feel like it got trendy, and I don't know how that happened.
There's one person who's pulled off face tattoos.
Is that Posty?
Well, two. Posty and Wheezy.
But I think Posty's the problem. I think that these white people hear Posty and they go, we can do that. And because it can be this guy. Although I do enjoy some Post Malone, he's kind of the worst. Like, I hear
you heard him play guitar?
Oh, it's amazing. It's wonderful. But have you heard Wheezy play guitar? It's
you hear him sing fucking Nirvana?
And it was good, but it's not like
he's an actual artist, okay?
Is he better than everyone else? What is this?
He's better than these dickheads.
I don't know about that. Look at this guy. We've only heard 16 seconds, and I'm pretty sure this is awesome.
All you need to know is he's a Bulls fan.
I'm like, I'm staying. They're like, you wanna be famous? I'm trying to be out the greatest. I'm gonna float away. They get real down.
I'm gonna give it to this normal dude who's actually doing the beat and the music. It almost sounds like he heard these guys doing this song, and he just added this in. Like, he knew that this shit sucked, So he put this beat on there, and this is called the Kiffness live looping remix. I'm assuming he listened to this live and was like, doo 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 doo, and this is how the song's blowing up into what it is, because this whole island boy, like that part of it is shitty, but it's so shitty, but it's shitty and it's catchy enough that, yeah, if you're walking around your kitchen, it's probably really easy to just go island boy.
That's what it is, right? It's not good. It's just catchy, gets stuck in your mind, and it's dumb enough that it's like, oh, that's funny.
That has to be it. That's how most memes are, though, isn't it? Like, damn, Daniel. Like, that's not even funny. But you just, damn, back at it again. It's just because he's saying it weird. It's easy to remember, so it catches on. Island boy. Like, it's a joke that these guys Rastafari?
We've been using that voice forever.
Oh, forever. Like, that could be Island Boy. That could be the Island Boy voice, but let's keep
I'm a
it.
Utah boy.
I'm an island boy, put my vest on, yeah, like a walk woman, tryna make it to the top.
He's doing that effect on his own. That's also what annoys me. Like, Post Malone does sing with an effect sometimes, like when he's doing the echoey, like reverb kind of sound. This guy's doing that on his own, like, to the tower. He's trying to make it sound like somebody's like twisting a knob or something, or pulling a lever down. It's not that at all. He's just doing that, and it sounds real terrible. But what do I know? This probably has 8,000 million views.
They've made more money than you and I have ever made.
Ever. If only I was skinny and looked like a douchebag, I could have been so successful. I'm fat and look like an everyday white guy. So it's like, oh, well, he obviously voted for Trump. Like, that's all I get.
On my island boy, I've been trying to make it. I ain't seen it with a gang sign. You ain't just saying okay. Through the storm, through the rain, 'cause we try home like a line.
And, like, how do they both get like that? Like, I can imagine if one of you looks like that, but you both look like that. They both have Cam Newton hair. They both have chest tattoos. This guy doesn't have ab tattoos, though. The other guy in the back has the ab tattoos. Like, they have to be brothers, right? Are they twins?
They see it. Well,
I don't even know if they look alike because they can't see them through the hair and the tattoos. They got to be twins.
yeah, exactly. That's what I was gonna say. It's like, I don't know if they are fucking look. They're both skinny and lanky. I don't know.
Oh, it looks like their Twitter handles are on the screen. When I hit play, we'll read them.
On the island boy,
I don't know. They don't have related Twitter names.
I'm an island boy. I'ma just island boy. I'ma just island boy. I'ma get keep that gun. I'ma get staring at the sun like a walk woman.
I can't tell. Is he for real in
Okay.
slow motion?
Dude, do you see their handle names? Cody Yak Red.
Kodiak Red. You know Kodiak Red.
KODIYAKREDD.
He's like Kodak Black. But he's like a
That's-
Kodiak Bear, but he's Kodiak Red with 2 Ds.
Exactly. And then what was the other one?
It was like,
Gotta
let
play
me
it.
see, Soldier. Yeah, Fly Soldier. I love it.
Fly Soldier.
Oh, is this supposed to be a Rickroll? Is that what this whole thing was to start with? Was these two assholes singing a song for 2 minutes and then never gonna give you up? Is that what happened?
I don't know.
You don't
Gotta
put
find out.
Rickroll time in your Rickroll, though. You just let Rick Astley show up. I gotta give it to this guy. Now, for those who are listening to this, the Kiffness, the guy who was playing the steel drums, or he's playing his little beat machine there, his little synthesizer. He picked up that trumpet that we called out and he started playing it. This is I did not expect this at all.
He's killing it.
Oh,
Seen it with a gang sign. You ain't just saying okay.
how old are these guys? 16. What do you think? Like, how old are these kids?
They're 17, 18 maybe.
But is this what's wrong?
Really though, they're probably like 25.
What's wrong? This has got to be what's wrong though with like the world. Like, people, this goes viral. Like somebody giving a TED talk and gets like 80,000 views, that's kind of viral. This gets millions and millions. Like kids love this shit. If I tried to show any kid, like, no, here's the motivational speech from Rocky 6. They don't want to hear that shit. They don't want to hear that the world's not all sunshine and rainbows, and it's a mean and miserable place, and it'll beat you to the ground, and it'll keep you there if you let it. Like they don't want to hear that. They want to hear, I'm an island boy. Like to them, that's more relevant to what's going on in their world than anything of actual substance, right? Like there's, and you know what actually makes this worse? This Kifness guy, he's actually making this like okay. He's the one who's saying I'm gonna take your shitty meme and make it way more legit. Like this sounds like a real song.
Well, I hate to burst your bubble here, but they're identical twins.
Oh
Born
man,
July 2001. How old is that?
2001. So they're 20.
So they're 20.
So they were old enough to get these tattoos. They waited until they were 18 when mommy said you got to wait. And then they went all in. They were like, we got to get chest, belly, arms, heads. Wherever I can get a tattoo, that's where I want my first tattoo. It's almost like on like NBA 2K or on Tony Hawk where you go into the tattoo shop and you can just leave fully covered in something. So you're like, this is my first tattoo. I put on a new skin. Look at me. You're like Altered Carbon. Oh, I got a new stack. It's all yadded up. So I'm happy that these guys were able to do this. And again, this is this world that we live in where it's supposed to be this shitty, dark, miserable place. Luckily, these guys are in everyone in this video is in a pool. I don't even have a pool, Zach. These guys are all in a pool, making music, loving life. I'm assuming 2 of them still live with their parents. I have the Kifness, I think, set out on his own.
I think so. With those beats, he's making it, dude.
He's got a little talent there. I got to give it to the Kifness. If we could give a like to the Kifness only and leave the Island Boys out of this, I would.
Through the storm, through the rain, 'cause we try home like a lion from the island.
Hey, this beat could be in GTA 5.
I even feel like his dancing is mocking these fucking is that what's happening?
Sure.
That's got to be what's happening here, right? Like, he's so in on it that he's like, oh, but that's a good idiot. Well, this beat keeps playing. Like, hopefully he gets a verse. Do you think the Island Boys let him come in and finish it up?
No, he's got the fire on the beat. He doesn't need anything else.
Are these guys from an island though? You looked them up. Are they from
They're
an
West
island?
Palm Beach, Florida.
So that's not really an island. That's in Florida.
Well, I mean, there's islands down at the end.
But not West Palm Beach. That's part of the peninsula. That's the Gulf right there.
Well, it says that they have been in jail from as early as 13 for burglary.
But were they trying to go viral or something on TikTok or my son can't have a phone. I guess that's what it is. My son's not gonna have a phone. He's gonna have a Motorola Razr, and I'm gonna be like, no, flip that open and call me when you're ready. Don't text me. I got to pay per text. So just call me.
Yeah. One of our friends posted that on Facebook. He's like, how old were your kids when you gave them a phone?
Yeah.
Because I think his old is like 5 or 6. I was just like 21 and a GPS collar at 8.
Yeah. I want to be able to track this fucking person wherever they go. Because I agree. Like a phone, like when I got my phone, and I think the way the good Lord intended these phones to be used was I was walking home. I was walking home from Royal Oak, so my mom wanted me to have a phone, and I got a phone. And that's the only reason why I got one. I was 12 years old, had to walk home, wasn't even more than a mile, had to just have your phone just in case something goes down. You can call me, call 911.
You can dial numbers, you can text, you can't send dick pics.
I don't even think texting was even part of anyone's thought process at that point. Like, you know, I didn't have a camera on my first phone. It was just a flip, and you would just call people, and it could text. But you know, and I remember when I got my first Droid, I was shocked that the messages were in a thread. I thought, what a genius concept! Instead of scrolling through my inbox and going like, okay, where was that text from Zach? Oh, here it is. Let me click on it, text him back. Then you scroll through your inbox. Like, whoever thought of that? Hey, email's real popular. That's going to be the future forever. Even emails are in a thread now. Like, I don't know why that was the idea that, oh, I have to, what did I say earlier? I got to go to my sent box, find what I said, and I go back to the inbox. Here's what they said back. It was such a confusing mess, and these kids have no idea what we're talking about.
No fucking clue. But we were showing my daughter the other day what phones used to look like. She was so confused.
And even when I got that first Droid, I can't even remember or imagine what it was like going on Facebook or Twitter. It had to be slow as shit, but I thought it was amazing. Because I'm on my phone now. And
those didn't exist because we were on MySpace.
well, hey, I remember my last like time on MySpace was like 08, 09. And then I left high school, moved
Who
on.
was in your top 8?
Oh, my brother was number 1 because that way nobody could fight over my number 1 spot. I just put my brother at number 1. That kept everyone off my back. Number 1 was my brother, and then number 2 was always like this revolving door of who I hung out with that weekend. Because it's like, oh well, obviously Tyler Perry's my best friend right now, and then I go to his top 8, and it'd be like you or Finkley. So I'm like, you know what? Tyler Perry's not he's not in my top 2. All right, why don't you get back into the 5-6 area, Tyler Perry? So yeah, it was. I hated that there was an order. I wish there. Obviously, MySpace, and I hear MySpace is coming back. By the way, it's called like Hey Space or something now.
Good.
Let's wrap up Island Boy. We got 41 seconds. I think we can do it.
Island boy, I'm a island boy.
Like, this is a banger right here. Skip all the other shit.
They just keep looping them.
If you actually auto-tune their voice,
I don't think it's that bad now that I just listened to the whole thing. I want to find that MySpace thing. I know we got other shit to talk about, but like I think it's called Hey Space or something. Like that's the new.
I saw that, but I didn't know if it was real or not.
Yeah, collaboration software. Oh, Space Hey, a space for friends.
Space Hey.
Look, it's a retro version of MySpace, I guess, where it's supposed to act just like your old MySpace did. And now for people that have never seen MySpace, this is what it looked like. If you go there now, it does not look like this at all. Like it's it's all commercialized, and Tom sold us out, dude. We had this the best for me. The best part of MySpace was the bulletin. You would throw a bulletin up, and you would just, hey, what's going on tonight? And then from that bulletin, you would get just an individual message back. Like this is before the wall where I would say, what's going on tonight? And then as soon as you post on that, like you post on it, now you and I are talking, people can see our plans that we're making. Or if, hey, maybe I didn't want to hang out with you that night. Now no one else is going to want to write on that because, oh, well, Gizak wrote first. Like with the bulletin, nobody knew who was writing you back. It was all secretive. It got so many people in trouble. And this was it was a haven, Zach, a haven for friends. And honestly, a haven for like getting chicks on this MySpace was so easy compared to when this Facebook thing came out. Oh my gosh, it was creepy to poke somebody.
Well, on Facebook, like you had to dodge grandma and mom, and your aunts and uncles. Like you can't be out on Facebook doing MySpace shit.
Yeah, it was super public, and there's a wall, and people are just writing on your wall, and your mom sees your wall, and you're like, like at least on MySpace, if you put a bulletin up that was a little cryptic, and somebody would just write you back like, I know what you mean.
Are you on deck?
Yeah. Who's on deck tonight? We need somebody on deck. Like,
you guys playing baseball?
Yeah, I'm batting cleanup. Who's on deck? So yeah, it's so much code that clearly went over everyone's head. But I look at it now, and I feel like this was a huge part of my high school years. I remember getting into high school. Andrew Carrion was like, "You don't have a MySpace? Let's make you one." And he made me one. Like I was like, "Okay, I'm part of the cool kids now. I have one of these MySpaces. What's next? What's your profile song gonna be?" I'm like, I don't know what that means. And I remember asking for like Van Halen and stuff, and he was like, "No, we gotta be something current." He put on like,
why is that not a thing on Facebook? Like, why don't people want to hear music when they go to your page?
It must have. It has. I don't know, because you can post YouTube videos on there and stuff. Like,
but like it doesn't just like. It's not like your fucking walk-up song. Like, I need a 30-second clip when you go to my Facebook. I need music so you know what I'm feeling.
Just like, yeah, I want you to just, well, and I always hated when people all had the same song. That made me get even more.
Oh, you're depressed? I'm putting some Screamo up. Okay?
Well, especially people that were like, oh, we all have Head Automatica. We all have Beating Hearts Baby. We all have Cute without the E or whatever. Like everybody had to have the same songs. So that's why I was always like, no, I need something deeper. I need to put, Jay Giles band on here or something from the 70s. So that way all my friends aren't like, oh, we all like Head Automatica. Like, no, I need to be cooler than that, Zach.
Shit, I've been on like a 4-day Tyler Spida funk playlist.
Oh, is this on Spotify? Is there a public playlist that I'm not aware of?
No, I can make it public though.
I don't have Spotify. I mean, I have it, but I pay for Amazon, whatever. Keezy, we have to get into this. There's a couple things. Now, Kyle Rittenhouse, obviously, we kind of talked about it at the beginning. Audio was a little shitty, so thank you for everyone who stuck around. He'll probably come back not guilty. I think that, and I think anyone who honestly does minimal research and actually watches some of the footage, you can see that he isn't this monster that they tried to make him out to be. Like, it really... Like I'm saying, if he really was a monster, he would have killed 80 people that night. It would have been so easy to kill so many people, and he didn't. He shot in self-defense. He killed people
as they were attacking him.
Yeah, and even in the prosecution, they were like the line of questioning was so weird. As far as I was protecting myself from the people that were trying to harm me. And he just kind of kept saying that.
That's because they're trying to like trap him in saying it the wrong way so that they can go to the jury and be like, well, the law says, this, and this. They're just trying to fucking trap him.
Yeah, like, let me see. It's self-defense. I can't court. I don't even know how you would find it. But it was such a weird... It was just such a weird way to cross-examine this guy because you're making it more and more. You're trying to just get him to say, yes, I went and murdered these people. But that's not what happened. So your line of questioning really is making him look like a hero in the law. Like, I get it in public opinion. He still seems like, oh, he showed up and killed these people. And that if that's the point you're trying to prove, just tweet that. Because you're not going to get him to admit that like in court. Like, okay, look, I brought my gun because I was ready to kill people for sure. Like, that's what I was going to do. And no, that's not what happened at all. But hey, it's so weird to go through these headlines. By the way, it's on YouTube. Self-defense is something juries struggle with. Legal analyst says. Like,
how do you know that? Nobody can talk to the fucking jury.
I think she just means in general. Whenever there is a shooting, I'm hoping that's what she means. That typically, whenever there's anything that's a self-defense shooting, the jury never buys that. There's no way the jury would ever buy. That it's a self-defense case.
That's because they're trying to influence the jury.
Yeah, well, and sure. And I think, honestly, when stuff like this goes, how do you know this isn't going to also persuade future juries? Does that make sense? Like, it just seems like it seems like that's another portion of this where we're trying to paint this guy as such a villain that in the future, if somebody else does do anything in self-defense and kill somebody, and it's against the narrative that because I forget, somebody made the argument this guy has to be guilty because if he's not, if he's innocent, they can point at these BLM riots and protests and say that those two people weren't killed by Kyle Rittenhouse. Like I said earlier, they were killed by these protests, like these riots led to deaths because they were attacking Kyle Rittenhouse. It makes the protesters look violent, which most of us already know. And look, I think Joe Rogan says this all the time. I don't think everyone's there to be violent. And I agree. Yes, I agree, Joe, that several of them are not there to be violent. There's a lot of footage of people trying to say, we're here to be heard. We're not here to destroy anything. This is still our community. My cousin works at that T-Mobile. Don't destroy the T-Mobile. And then, the T-Mobile gets destroyed. Jimmy John's gets broken into. Like, all that stuff goes on anyway. But there are people that are, yes, peaceful protesting, trying to get their point across and be heard. That just gets muddled in the mess of all the violent protests. Because violent protest is just rioting. Like, right? Is there another word for it?
I'm sure there probably is with today. Like, people just make up words, but I think they're about the same thing.
Oh, dude, so many words are made up. Have you heard these neo-pronouns? I don't mean to keep being Republican, but like sometimes when I hear these pronouns, I just don't know how people came up with those and then how they get their friends and colleagues to like go along with it, So J, Jur, and Jizz, I'm like, what? What did you just say? Did you say Jizz out loud on purpose? Because if that's a pronoun, that's not appropriate. See if I can find some stuff.
So you didn't know what was in the bag at all?
I didn't.
Did he swing the chain at you when he made the second threat?
He did not.
Did he
He did not.
physically touch you when he made the second throw?
This guy, by the way, I know that I said this on Discord. He just looks like the world's worst lawyer. Like, what happened?
He could go without that mustache for sure.
It's Movember, okay? We're all doing it, all right? We're all doing it at work, okay? I can't physically grow a mustache, but my boss was like, "Hey, everyone's doing it. You should do it." So I have like little dirt on my upper lip right now. It's just like a little dirt, and that's what I tell them. So on December 1, I will cut it. I will trim it. But
Thank God.
look at my little mustache. Me and this prosecutor have a lot in common now that you bring it up, right? Look at that.
You and every porn actor from the 70s.
Hell yeah.
No, he didn't.
In fact, that entire evening, he never once touched your body, did he?
He.
These guys talk
grabbed me
forever.
when he-
Let's fast
Heard of
forward.
him? Never dealt with him before this night.
I have not.
I'm not.
So why did you talk to him?
He seemed like a nice guy.
Because we were at a fucking protest and like everyone's yelling and talking to each other. Like, what are you? Oh, I don't like that guy. I'm going to hold off.
Did he introduce himself as from the media?
He didn't specifically said, "Hey, I'm from the media." He was like, "Hey, do you want to do an interview?"
And when you heard him ask you to do an interview, you didn't think that meant he's from the media?
No, it's not what I said. I said he didn't specifically say he was from.
Hell yeah.
Good for
You
you.
assumed when he says,
I don't know why, but even something stupid like that, I love,
Cuz, dude, they try and fuck you. They try and trap you.
but this guy's
So
not good
dumb.
at it. Like, I don't get why this is the guy. Now, this is me from the other side. Why did we pick this guy? How come there was no better prosecution? There was no better, what's it called? What are they called when they're in the office like that? The district attorney. There was no one else in the DA's office that is a little better than this guy. Like, I swear, I'm calling it now. This guy's a crisis actor. He wants there to be a riot. That's why he's doing a really poor job. I can't make any other, like, there's no other reasoning why, I fast forwarded 40 minutes and they're still talking about who knows what. Like, is it because I've watched A Few Good Men? Like, I know what, the prosecution should look like or the defense should look like.
Can't handle the truth.
Like, is that the problem? Is that, like, I assume every court scene is like 7.5 minutes long. So I watched 40 minutes of this guy going, well, why would you give him an interview if you didn't think he was the media? No, I did not say that. I said he did not say he was media. It's like, this is happening 47 minutes in to a 3.5 hour. Like, when does this guy ever stop?
I guess yesterday.
Because, yeah, he's still, here, I'll fast forward another 40
Maybe
minutes.
he's still
clothing,
talking in an
similar
office somewhere.
weapon, things like that, right?
Similar weapons. I wouldn't say similarly dressed.
But you went over there because you felt that those were people doing something similar to what you were doing that night.
I
Fair?
thought that would be the safest spot for me to go
Why did you think you'd be safe with those people?
because I was alone and they were, like I said, you're better in pairs, and
Sure.
I didn't want to be alone in that situation.
You didn't want to be alone out here with this crowd that we see on the screen right now.
I
Right.
did not want to be alone with them.
So is he
You
trying
wanted
to
be?
It's more like this is a hey, you're a racist thing unconsciously, right? Is that what he's painting here? Because that's hey, if I could be on the other side, that's what I would try and do. The media has already tried to make him seem like he's a racist. If you could prove that he's racist subconsciously, boom, we just proved it. He's racist. You showed up to kill people. So is that what do you think that's what that question is? You don't want to hang out with those people. Is that what you said?
I really want to comment on that question, but the fact that he has a matching red watch band, pocket square, pin, and fucking tie is killing me right now.
He
What
really
is
thinks
happening?
he really thinks he's Tony Stark. Like he just is so
I dress this is how I dressed in 2009. Like the hat matched the shoes unnecessarily. Everything that's not gray or white is red on him.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, he was like, I'm gonna have one color and it's really
He
gonna pop.
put a fucking. He's got matching wristbands for his Apple Watch for all of his outfits.
His lapel pin is also red. He made sure to wear the red lapel pin, the red pocket square, the red tie.
Like red is murder. Is that why?
I don't know. Maybe he's just trying to. It's like when Trump wears a blue tie. It's I have to show that I'm bipartisan. I have this other color, but Yeah, like
with
this
the
wasn't.
group at Ultimate
And
Gas.
kudos to anyone who's been like watching this stuff in court. Like, there's no way I could have done that, but it is fascinating that all that stuff is televised. You can watch it. It's not like the OJ trial where everybody was huddled around like stopping what they were doing to watch it. I don't know. I think that and that's probably because everybody already has their mind made up. Nobody cares about the trial. You just care about what your headline was. Like, my headline was, this guy shot 3 people in self-defense, and then I watched videos and I said, holy shit, like he got hit by a skateboard. And I know that's not an AR-15 because that's everyone's argument to that is he still used deadly force. And it's like, yeah, but he thought he was going to be killed. Like, I know it is
from a skateboard.
I know it is a skateboard, and that sounds fun and silly, but it still is a weapon that can do a lot of damage. So let's not pretend that it's not a deadly weapon in its own right. And that's the argument. Hey, this guy had a pistol. You had an AR-15. What's wrong with you? It's like,
Well,
look,
pistols shoot bigger bullets than ARs, so how about that?
and yeah, it's just ridiculous. It's so silly. But again, whatever side of the aisle you're on. So Geezy, before we go, 2 questions. Let's go with my question first. I've been fascinated by my bathroom etiquette as of late. I hate talking to people in the bathroom, but I've been talking, right? Now I noticed a new thing that I've been doing. And let me get everyone's opinion on this because I feel like nobody did this. When you get to the urinal, do you undo your belt, unbutton your pants, just kind of give it enough room to pull your dick out and go pee? Or do you unzip, find the little slot where your dick's supposed to come out of your boxers and just pull it out of that? Which one do you do?
I do neither.
What do you do? How do you pee?
So the only time I really use a urinal is at work. And what I do is my pants are like spandex. Not jeans, but like, how do I describe
got
it?
like
Like
a
golf pants, kind of?
You got like a stretchy waistband, like the elastic
Stretchy
waist.
waistband, and I use the stretchy golf belt.
So all of
I
it is
pull
like
up over the top.
So you just have like basketball shorts. Like, that's your thing, is that these shorts, or you have gym shorts while you go. So you never have to deal with the zipper fiasco. Because I've never been one of those people. I've never, ever, like, I've always seen that on boxers where there's a little hole for it. And I've never thought, like, who's actually doing that? It's just easier to pull.
How much does it suck when it just falls through there, even when your pants are just on?
And that's what I don't get is, like, why is this thing here? Who thought this was a good idea? But I wore a suit a couple days ago. And whilst wearing the suit, I realized I have this belt on so perfectly. And my shirt's tucked in nicely. If I undo this whole thing, it's going to be a mess trying to fix it. So I just kind of unzipped, and I just kind of, oh yeah, there's a little hole. So once you like pull your zipper, that's the other issue. I'm always terrified of the zipper. Mainly that's because of There's Something About Mary. But once I get my wee out and it's free and clear, oh, it's unbelievably convenient. I'm shocked I've never done this. And I don't think anyone else does it because I hear people fidgeting with their belts and zippers while they're in the bathroom. For me, it's just unzip, flop the old pud out there, go pee, pop the old pud back in there. Well, give it a good shake. And then put the pud back in there, zip it back up. And like, nobody knows that I just took a piss. It's amazing. I could literally turn around and nobody knows.
JT, it was the beans above the Franks.
That's a good point too. But either way, yeah.
No, but I agree. I am if those are my 2 options, I'm the unbutton, unzip.
Sure.
But that is one of the only cases where it's like, it's going to be more work for me to undo all of this. I'll just flop it out.
Yeah, I've never, ever thought about this. I literally pulled the wang through the pee hole, just like Spliffmaster says in the chat. And I have the Botrix thing open, so I don't know why Botrix isn't playing. I even have it.
Well, and also, just be prepared in like the next 3 or 4 years. You not only need to shake it, but then you got to let it sit for a minute.
You think so? Is that what happens as you get older?
Yeah.
Well, I've even read
it, but then you holding it and shaking it is holding some of it in.
Have you ever dabbed it with like a piece of toilet paper and you kind of realize, like, you just touch the tip and it's almost like a Bounty commercial where it just absorbs like a huge splatter. Like, how did this much piss come out of me? Like, I was done peeing and I just dab the tip, and it's whoa! I gotta drop it before it gets my hand wet. It's a mess
Only
down
gets
there.
worse.
Oh, don't tell me that. I do notice that I am getting older, but so far I can't grow the mustache. I just discovered how to pee through my pants. I'm still very young at heart. But speaking of living on the edge, Zach, you're a half vaxxer. Now I need help because in my head, we got vaccinated. I got double vax. I'm free and clear, baby, until
Just tell everybody how long we talked about this.
Oh, we were-
This is like an all-day
we were
conversation.
texting, yeah, pretty much the whole day. And I was just like, how is he going to do this in his life? Aren't you worried? Because like all of these anti-vaxxers don't want to get jab number 1. But I feel like once you get jab number 1, you need to get jab number 2 just to stay alive. And here you are getting jab number 1 and not.
Skipped it.
Why'd you skip it? What happened?
So, first of all, jab number 1, I got, my whole family was in the hospital. So there was a little fear there. I saw some articles that the first shot is up to 80%
Vleeties
effective.
says beans about the Frank.
Perfect. Okay. I fixed
Vleeties says
worked.
beans about the Frank.
Now
Oh,
it's
no.
doing the double thing. Either way, it sounds like it's working. Perfect. Okay, continue. You were afraid, so that meant get jab number 1. But I'm telling you, that still means that you need to get all of it. Like you're already pot committed. You're in it.
I am not pot committed. Why? Why do I need to get another one? It's just a booster.
Now, for
The
those
second
who,
shot is a booster anyways.
I sent this text to you anyway, and I think that, sometimes I use terms that people don't know.
Pot committed is the perfect term.
It
I
is.
know exactly what you're
Now,
saying.
So I know you know what it means, but for the listeners who aren't sure, pot committed is in poker. Say you have 200 chips and you're playing a big hand and you put 180 chips into the pot. Now, someone raises you for your final 20. Are you going to fold? Because that means you're pretty much donating 180 of your chips. So you might as well call because you're already pot committed. You've already thrown everything into the middle. I feel like once you get that first jab, oh, you're in it now, my friend. You put everything in the center of the table. It's time. You're a vaxxer now. You're pro-vax. You can't wait to go to Mavericks games. Like that's what it is to get that jab. You got it, but you still folded after you put in 100 chips. Like
I'm backing out. I got my fucking flu shot that day instead.
you got a flu shot. You showed up for dose 2, and you were like, "I'll take a flu shot because I might be anti-COVID vax. I'm definitely not anti-flu vax." It's you know what? You probably got the second dose. It was probably it. The pharmacist was probably like, "Okay," like you come back a week later, like I got the fucking flu. Yeah, I know because I gave you the COVID too. So okay, but so what's
I'm fine.
Are you ever going to get it, or you just think one jab, you're good, it's in your system enough now, you're going to wait for the COVID pill?
I'm just gonna wait to fucking get it at some point. I think at this point, because 2 shots isn't gonna be enough for me getting them every 6 months.
But honestly, like since I'm pro-vax now, I guess my argument to that argument would be, so just get your
They're fucking just bad.
reload every 6 months. Just reload it up, dude. Like pretty soon that's just going to be
Yo,
the
well,
world.
then why do you only need a flu shot once a year?
Because the flu is different, okay? The flu is a viral infection. This is a vascular disease now. Didn't you listen to Joe Rogan and Dr. Sanjay Gupta? This
Exactly.
thing's been
Every time you get
misclassified.
that shot, you're fucking up your vascular system.
I think you're making it stronger.
Rather than getting COVID once, you're just getting it every 6 months on purpose.
And wait, Rich Eisen got it twice. He got COVID, then the vaccine, then COVID again. So it's just random.
Look at him. Does he look healthy to you?
He does the Run Rich Run campaign every year.
Once a year.
He gives money.
He
to
runs 40 yards once a year. Fuck. I love that too. In the beginning of COVID, it was like, oh, this guy, he's so healthy. He rides his bike every Saturday. It was like, what the fuck? One of my buddies in California rides his bike almost every day, and he's still like 300 pounds.
52 days a year. He's riding that bike, motherfucker. So he's gonna be fine.
It's
Or
called leisure, not fucking fitness.
the 300-pound 16-year-old who was like, this healthy.
Probably rode it downhill too.
This 16-year-old with no comorbidities got COVID and is not doing well. It's like, well,
Her
Yeah.
stomach's touching her ankles.
That is a gigantic 16-year-old. That might be more of the problem than this COVID situation. But I don't know. I feel like, and then you even said like you're just going to wear a mask. I thought we proved that these masks were bullshit.
I have a mask on my desk in here for no fucking reason.
Like-
I think it was from the first time when I was trolling.
I have 2 masks in the car, and it's really just when I pick up and drop off my son because, you please wear a mask because all the libtard parents who drop their kids off are like, this place should be masked. I'm surprised the kids aren't masked. Like, I think that's what a lot of parents are doing when they drop their kids off there. Because I get out of my car, I'm not wearing my mask. There's families that are driving with masks on. Like, I can't imagine what it's like to have dinner with these people. But
And you live in Texas?
I live in Texas, but I don't mean to be this person. And it's not a white or an Asian thing. It's just I look at these people from other countries like India, like parts of Asia where they migrate to Texas because they think about, hey, we want to go to America. California is very expensive. Oh, Texas is fine. Then they come here and then it's still like they're not really like Texans. They're not really. They still have a lot of that in their culture of like wearing a mask and, if I don't feel well, I wear a mask. But with COVID, you can feel great and people still think you're supposed to wear a mask. So I think that's where their disconnect is. Like, I saw in the news that I'm supposed to wear one, so I wear it in my car. I make sure that I wear a mask everywhere I go, which I can't imagine living that life. And I know that you jokingly said, I'm just going to wear a mask forever. And I just was, I know that that's like such a hyperbolic, like stupid thing to be upset about. That just seems like the worst thing. I'm going to wear a mask for the rest of my life. It's just a muzzle. Get it off. Like you're saying, I'd rather get COVID than this lockdown bullshit than, vax mandates, like all of this shit. It's just so strange what's the other option? Getting COVID? Okay, let's do that then. Because the world seems to be
But then you still got to get vaxxed.
Sure, I already did that.
It doesn't count. If you get regular COVID, it doesn't count.
I feel honestly, I think that if this I don't get the president's logic. I don't get anyone's logic when it comes to this vaccine. Now, I got this vaccine because my mommy asked me to, but I still look at it as if, okay, you're forcing everybody to do something. On this day, I see clearly. Everything's come to light. Bitter place in a broken dream. And we'll leave it all behind. Thank you, Nathan Weller. By the way, I haven't been on Twitch in like years, right? Thanks again, Nathan, for the boom, bro. I haven't been on Twitch in forever. I have like $89 in my payout. And you can only cash out at 100. So I'm
sick.
Like,
I got 20 still in there from fucking
debate.
Maddie Spice.
Oh, good neck crack. I know, and that's why I love Trovo. Trovo is great. You can cash out at $50. You could do it on your terms. Twitch makes you wait, and you get paid once a month like it's child support. Like Trovo,
and I love kids jumping on my lap.
Trovo was like, "Hey, you got money? Do you want it?" It's like, no.
That one's got all new meaning now too.
Yeah, it's like, no, I'm good. Yeah, the jumping on my lap thing. This guy's and we didn't even talk about him showering with his daughter inappropriately.
But dude, you left out. Are you going vegan with me again?
No, never. Let me take you by the hand.
See, sometimes I miss Twitch.
See, that's why it's back. It's back for hashtags and headlines. But I'm not going vegan. I don't know why you are. What is it about?
I feel fucking amazing today.
Yeah,
I'm on day 2.
That's because you got to get the rest of the vax. This is how it happens.
I also started antibiotics yesterday, so
see, you sound like shit. You got some sort of a cold you're fighting off.
It was rough.
I mean, what's good? Bitches, you blind. Check my watch, better be money all the time.
Vegan Scum from Nathan played at the same time. Quickly dropped that on us because I feel like we listen to Joe Rogan. We've heard how debunked this whole vegan lifestyle is, but you're diving back in with both feet.
feet, balls, dick, hands.
This tan
elbows.
was needed, not wanted. Thank you so much, Nathan. That's a good point. But so what about carnivore diet? Because for me, honestly, eliminating sugars is the best. Like having sugar in the morning ruins my day. So I know that I just can't have sugar.
I'm very low sugar.
So you're just veggies, huh? You're just plants. Are you eating Beyond Meat?
No, I try not to because that's fucking pointless at that point.
Yeah.
If you're eating Beyond Meat and processed vegan shit.
I would say it is for the vegan who isn't like, oh, I don't know what to do without
They don't care
meat.
about their like. I don't know because if you're vegan, you have to care about your health.
Sure.
It's
do
for
you?
people who like.
I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't know.
I got friends that are religious who are vegan. It's like, oh, I don't eat meat because it's life. What are they, Muslim? I don't eat meat because it's life, and you're not supposed to eat other life. But meanwhile, aren't plants alive? That counts.
Oh,
Malachi Black says,
different kind of
remember
way.
when Jeezy streamed now he just fucking hates us and left us.
His wife got COVID, okay? She almost died.
Jeez.
He's been living in COVID land, all right? He's barely, and look at him. He's barely surviving this right now.
I
So-
took too much fucking L-theanine before this.
See, way too much
Knocked me out.
L-theanine, Nathan. Do you know how?
I feel like we've had a lot of energy. What are you talking about?
I
Can't
think-
rub my fucking eyes.
Who did I say that? We're just talking about your L-theanine, okay? But I'm all meat lately, dude. I am just in it now. I go to Costco. I go to Costco. I love meat in my mouth. I love big meaty men.
Says
I
maybe
smoked
your
a
friends are
15-pound brisket on
breatharians.
Sunday.
Maybe your friends are breatharians. What does that mean? Is that a breathing thing? Is that about me?
I'm not sure.
Well, Zach, I think we did it. Hashtags and Headlines was back. You're back. We'll be live next Tuesday right here on YouTube, Twitch, Trovo. I didn't go on Facebook because I was like, we're going to talk some politics and all.
Twitter? Can you go live on Twitter?
I am live on Twitter. Good call. But I
live on Facebook?
I bet a lot of my liberal friends didn't like it on Twitter. They're probably like, this fucking guy. True colors are showing.
Are you live? Dude, next week, live on Space Hey.
Oh, we got to be on there. Yeah, we have to be on. I'll have to create an account and at least put a bulletin up and just say, hey, this is where I'm streaming tonight. And then maybe people will click on my bulletin. And hopefully there's a way to kind of track my traffic on where people are coming from. But I think we did a good job. I think we crushed it. We had mic issues again, but I fixed them. I don't know why the gain was up, but the gain makes it sound like shit. Like as soon as this knob gets louder, it just turns into shit. Like you hear that?
That's what it is, yeah.
Just as talented as white kids.
So once I turn it all the way down and have no gain whatsoever, but that's the strange
Poor
thing.
kids are just as bright and just as talented as white kids.
Hydrates from our good friends Ricardio and Ricardio. So I'm going to take a sip of water at the same time you are. Everyone at home, sip of water.
Cheers. That's when you have the dead silence when everybody's drinking.
Oh my! I try and do an audible gulp sound. That way there is no like sounds, like there's no silence.
Now for
Oh!
You may have heard
I'm going to
these
get my
words
money.
before, but I'll teach you what they really mean. Go beyond. Plus.
I'm like 6 episodes behind on My Hero Academia. Thank you so much, Quigley, for the love. I appreciate it.
Everything is shaking.
Everything. Oh, you know what we need to open because I haven't been looking at it. Twitch activity. Let me just make sure I didn't miss anything. It's taking a minute to load here. Okay, Nathan did 60 bits. Tan was needed, not wanted. Perfect. We didn't miss much. All right, Zach. I think we did it. It's good to be back. I'm putting this on its own feed, by the way, because I've had that request from more than one person where it's like we have wrestling stuff, we have the social commentary, which is what you and I do, and I think it's fun to have them separated because those people that are diehard wrestling fans, because I've listened to wrestling podcasts where they're like, hey, check out our movie podcast right in the middle of, I'm like, I don't want to hear you guys talk about Star Wars. No offense. I don't want to hear you guys talk about Star Wars. Just like people don't want to hear me talk about the truth, talk about the shape of the earth, talking about all kinds of shit. Wait, I have an episode called The Rittenhouse Tapes already. We're ahead of this curve. So any parting words, Zach? I think we about covered it up, right?
I just realized what through the zipper was in this. I read that before we started. I was like, fuck, what is that going to be?
No, it's been driving me nuts. Every
And
time
when it was happening, we were talking about it, I totally forgot.
when I was in the bathroom, the first time I did that, and I just thought, oh, this is like this is life changing. I'm a through the zipper guy now. Now, when I'm at home, obviously, when I can drop my pants around to my knees or whatever, I'll still undo it, and that'll be fun. But
See, at home, when I'm actually in gym shorts, I'm through the leg sometimes.
Get the fuck out of here. We don't have time for this. You lift your pant leg up and pull your dick out from the bottom?
Don't have to lift it up that much.
I think it's because I have these tight underwear on. I can't do that. Kind of undies do you rock?
I've made the switch of probably like 2 years ago. I'm mostly, when I'm at home relaxing, it's always boxers.
These are boxer briefs, I think, because they're the ones that are like tight to my leg. They moisture wick. My balls can't handle just freedom. They need support. Like I used to be like you when I was in high school. Whatever. I guess it's like
Maybe
I'm older.
that's why you can't grow a mustache.
It's all on my balls. Like it's just I got old man balls quick. I feel they just got so soggy and big, and I just was like, okay, I need something to kind of keep this shit in check. Like when you buy a cup for like football or baseball, I couldn't
never wore one.
I couldn't fit in it because the bottom it gets narrower. I needed it to get the same length. I need it to look like it needs to almost look like a shoe, and it just needs to go perfectly over all that stuff. But for some reason they shaped it like a fucking like a pussy, and it didn't work. I was like, these balls are gigantic. So there was one time I actually had to borrow somebody's cup because I was playing first base and I got hit in the balls like in the first inning immediately. So I took
Wiggly just got you, man. You should have wore it upside down.
That's what I did. I flipped it upside down and like just kind of lifted my balls up. For those who have Subscribestar, there's a camera right here on my balls and I'm doing all the hand motions. You can see them all. So yeah, I like flipped it, placed them in there kinda, and I just left it in there for a few innings. And then towards the end, I was like, I'd rather get hit in the balls. This hurts. So if I can't have kids, we know why. But Zach, I think we about did it. Let's ride off into that glorious, glorious sunset. And if you're here live with me on Trovo, on Twitch, whatever, I got Geno coming up. We're going to talk some wrestling. I watched Impact Wrestling today, Zach.
Oh, that sucks.
It was so good. But I don't know if I'm like tricked because I watch Raw and I go, this is not good. And then I watch Impact and I go, this is great. But is it good? Is it great because it's Impact, or is it great because it's actually pretty good? I think it's great because it's Impact. Like, this guy cut the worst promo I've ever heard, but it's forgivable in Impact. In WWE, if this guy cut this promo with this haircut, everyone would have turned their TVs off and asked for their money back. I watched it going, this guy is really coming along. This guy's so great. So, and we have a pay-per-view. We have 2 pay-per-views this weekend, Zach. So I know, like, if you're listening to this, you're not a wrestling fan, come listen to me and Geno. It's going to be amazing. So, Geezy, stick around for a couple minutes at least because it's going to be great. All right?
Sounds good.
Have a good night,
everybody.
everybody.
The chat.
He'll be in the chat. Stick around. I'll be right back. Nothing's better than Orton night vision goggles. Thank you for joining me, my friend. I'll talk to you tomorrow.
All right, bro. Have a good rest of the stream.
Oh, it's going to be amazing. Later. Smelly cat. BK, kill me. The argument can't be, well, he had a bazooka. It's like, no, it does sound weird. Mandates are a little weird. I think the idea that you can force everybody to take medicine is... So he was having like a panic attack. People were trying to say he was... All right, it sounds all right. Not happy about it, but we fixed it. Just as talented as white kids. Thank you, Quigley. All right, I'm gonna go take a piss, so we'll be right back. I don't even have to pee, but like I want to do it. Get it out of the way. record. So now we're recording it, Geno.
Yes.
I wasn't recording it until now.
Makes sense.
I'm loving this Japanese lo-fi station.
Lo-fi is always good. Like I normally like half chilled cow up that whole YouTube channel. It's always live with lo-fi.
It's amazing.
It is.
So chill. How did it get so chill?
It's always been, I think, more or less. Like at least for me, at least when I hear it. But I don't know like what the appeal is, like when it all started, the whole
I have no
lo-fi
idea
popularity.
It's simpler times, my friend. It reminds me of just simpler times. It reminds me of when I was younger. I don't know why. Just makes me feel young, Geno. Puts it all back into me. Makes me feel relaxed. I'm calm now. I'm going to have to rename this thing just like Tuesday night tapings. Like, that's just what it needs to be called. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Vleeties 2.0. Geno, you're here. Geno, what did you think of, first of all, is the room clean?
I'm still working on that. Again, there's
Hell
still a
yeah.
whole space that I'm working on, and we apparently have a either rat or mice situation in other parts of this house, so we're trying to take care of that too.
So you got to get rid of these rats, these mice first, priorities, and then this room will get clean.
Yes.
I'm a big fan of this storyline. For those who are unaware, Geno has a room, and it must be gigantic because it's not clean yet, Geno. If Nathan were here and he's listening to this now somewhere, I'm pretty sure he'd be yelling at you. But I'm gonna reel it in because we're here to talk about wrestling. If you downloaded this, you probably saw that it was titled after like 3 pay-per-views, Geno. We have a crazy slate to talk about because I've been saying like, I haven't really been watching wrestling. Well, I watched Full Gear. I watched Hulu Raw. I watched Impact from last week. And I have this is a lot for me, okay? That's a lot of wrestling. Add that up, Geno. What is that? That's like 6.5 hours of wrestling.
More or less 6.5, close to 7, yeah.
See, look at
that's
me.
Good.
Look at me. I'm back, baby. I got addicted. I finished Raw, and I was like, should I watch SmackDown? No, I want to watch Impact. Should I watch Rampage? No, I want to watch Impact. But let's start with the headliners. Let's go with the big names. Let's start with it's a Thanksgiving tradition. Let's start with Survivor Series, Geno. I have complaints across the board because I watched this Raw, right? I've watched some of like Raw. I watched the first half hour of like every Raw.
Do you remember when we super kicked you right in the face?
Mr. Wolf, thank you for the follow, my friend. You're just in time for the wrestling portion. I hope the title changed on Trovo. I can't see it from here. Either way, that's not important. Geno, I watched this Raw and the whole episode of this. I am not on board with this whole Battle of the Brands thing. Like, do you enjoy that every year now? It's SmackDown versus Raw at Survivor Series.
It would be a good idea if they actually had it be for something. I think Becky Lynch made a whole joke about like it could be for a banana. At least that could mean something like the show would get a banana if they would. There's no real reason for the one show to be better than the other, just to show brand supremacy when that meant nothing when we had bragging rights.
It almost like my idea of a whole brand split would be so different just as far as we are never changing these brands. Like the only way to do any sort of brand shakeups is to fire people and then they get signed by the other brand. We can do trades. We can do like an NXT draft where instead of just having random people get called up, we're actually drafting people from NXT or even the indies or something. But the way they do it now, we just did a fucking a brand shuffle like last month. So why is it a big deal if we're having which brand is better? Like these guys aren't even like when Seth Rollins is coming out here telling me I'm a Raw guy, Monday Night Rollins. But you were on SmackDown for a full year and you were kind of an important player on SmackDown. So I still look at him as a SmackDown guy in a lot of ways because I haven't really been watching Raw every week. So, and you look at the way Raw is, it's like Finn Balor, Kevin Owens, Seth Rollins. These guys were all SmackDown guys last month. And now I'm supposed to believe that they're excited to wear their red shirts at Survivor Series and represent the red show. And we all know next year, they're probably going to switch back to the other show. Like, it has no function. Like, maybe in 2005, which I think was the first time they did the brand versus brand. And it did feel a little bit more, oh, shit, like, this is taboo. We haven't shuffled the rosters up since WrestleMania. And now here we are in November having a brand versus... Like, that makes sense to me. Not 1 month after this draft, like, remember the draft was always like the month or two after Mania? Is an October draft like just the wrong time?
It probably is, but at the same time, again, besides just the brand split that we also had a massive cut of layoffs of wrestlers that were on both shows,
sure,
and even on NXT. So like that also meant that they had to change a lot up probably really quickly, and so they were in a rush and. The whole booking for the Survivor Series has been all over the place because they're trying to focus on that, but also trying to focus on feuds for immediately after the show.
And I do like that about Survivor Series, at least because if you are going to do this brand versus brand thing, I do like that Big E is almost distracted by what's going on with Rollins and with KO. There's so many awesome storylines that are happening. It actually is a little refreshing because sometimes it feels like guys are just forgotten about and they're not really anywhere until they're getting a title shot. This actually feels kind of fresh where I don't even know when that title match is coming. I don't know when a title shot's about to happen for those guys. So it's just cool that they're involved in this storyline. Like, and remember 2 Survivor Series in a row, the WWE Championship like switched hands the go home show. And I don't think that'll happen this year with the Universal title on SmackDown. But I just remember when AJ lost the belt to D-Bry, when Jinder lost it to AJ, it was like this, whoa, like we're going to Survivor Series completely. The deck has been reshuffled. But I agree with what Becky says. There's nothing at stake. And when I think of Survivor Series, I do think of one of the big 4 pay-per-views or one of the majors, at least that's what it used to be considered as. And like the fact that it's a good way to get everybody on the card because there is, 5-man, 10-man matches. They, sometimes they do it with the tag teams and the women, and they can put as many people on this card as they want. But at least there needs to be something on the line here. Like, how we have free agents, right? What if some of these free agents, their future was decided by this match? Like, or hey, if we win, we get to take one person from your team or something. It just seems like this card is nothing more than, like kids sitting around just having red versus blue. And like, it doesn't really seem like important at all in the grand scheme of the year.
And that is the case that it's just, again, just that kids play with toys, be like, these guys got to fight each other because there are different shows. They have to represent their brand for no reason, especially since our authority figures to both brands are the same 2 people.
Which is also confusing. Like, it's just, and that's the other thing that I don't mean to keep, No, I do. I do mean to keep poo-pooing on WWE because it was inevitable. We knew that Adam Pearce would eventually turn heel because in the world of professional wrestling, authority figures can only be baby faces for so long now. We need to eventually, Dixie Carter's going to turn heel. MVP needs to turn heel. If you're in power, you are going to turn heel. And it was kind of nice these past couple years of just, they even try to have no authority figures. Like once Triple H and Stephanie went away and they kind of got rid of Mick Foley and Daniel Bryan as general manager.
Tan was needed, not wanted.
Thank you so much, Quigley. Tan was needed, not wanted. And just looking at the way things are set up right now, I don't know, I thought we had it all figured out. Like babyface, we have one babyface authority figure and one heel authority figure. It kind of works that they oversee both shows because, hey, when we need to have a heel have something to their benefit, Sonya will book that match. When we want to do something on the up and up, Pierce will book that match. Like we had a really nice setup, and now we just have 2 heels, so we're just back to the authority.
It really is just the authority, which they've realized like that worked for a good period of time, but because they tried to make Roman into Steve Austin with the authority, which was successful to a point until they forced it again. But again, now they're trying this with Adam Pearce, and his heel turn was immediate because again, he first was fighting Brock for a realistic reason that actually any face would have. And then just that next night on Raw, Rey Mysterio gets kicked, Dom gets kicked out because he's a loser, and Bobby gets it. So again, immediately he just turns heel.
That was fun. Well, he even turned heel in his study or whatever when they had that monitor propped up on the bookcase, and he was saying, you don't want to know how serious I am? I'm finding Brock Lesnar $1 million, and even that was just, it was a weird like heel thing because they advertised the show like Brock Lesnar was going to do something on it just from that episode of SmackDown. That might have been the last episode I really watched, like, and actually sat here and focused on. And I thought that was weird. Like the whole show seemed like Adam Pearce and Brock were going to have like an interaction. And then it was just this weird fine, which made Pearce be a heel. Like that was what their goal was with that. Hey, I'm going to find Brock because I'm a heel now. And then, it carries over to Raw where he's, Ray or Dom, you're a loser, you're off the team. And then, Ray, you're a loser, you're off the team. Austin Theory, I like your style and nobody seems to like you. You're on the team. Like the only reason, and I like Austin Theory, but he's only there because he's a heel, and it just happened to like fit the story they were trying to tell. But other than that, like, what are we actually doing? Like, I feel like a lot of it just was rushed. This whole idea of we need to turn him heel now.
It was rushed for that, and also, again, the whole Survivor Series teams in general. Because again, weeks ago, we get on social media posts that Survivor Series teams, and then throughout the weeks, that just gets changed.
Yeah.
So we now waste time building up these teams when you could have been building, the champion versus champion matches. Because we have no reason to be interested in the whole Priest and Nakamura match. Because they just have a fucking little vignette, and that's like, there's their match is happening.
I honestly didn't remember Damian Priest was one of the champions. And I did see a little graphic today that like Nakamura has defended the belt on TV once. Like, he's just the champion and he's the champion. There's no real heat behind him. There's nothing happening really with him, but he's a champion. So he's going to be on this pay-per-view.
Yes, they're both champions.
And
they've not been on TV.
Like, I just watched Hulu Raw. Damian Priest wasn't even on it. So
nope, he wasn't on Raw for the 3 hours either.
Wow.
Just a video package about these two are going to fight because they're the champions of the shows.
The video package didn't even make it. So I don't know what the long-term booking or the long-term storytelling is with them, but it does seem like this pay-per-view, it almost seems like they love it because it's so easy to book. Oh, it's Raw versus SmackDown. And it's a lazily thrown together. Some of the matches are going to be excited. Like, I think a lot of people I'm excited for Charlotte Becky since they kind of legitimately hate each other. But other than that, nothing else really feels important. It all feels maybe you're right. Maybe all these releases that we're seeing really affects these super cards that we're supposed to have every year. Like, WrestleMania is going to be 2 nights. Like, how? Like, we just got rid of 80 people this year. We look at Survivor Series where typically I'm looking at a 6-match card right now. So typically when I'm thinking about Survivor Series, I'm thinking, 6 to 8 matches, but I'm thinking we're loading this thing up. This thing is literally just the brand versus brand stuff. Nothing special about it. It's just, hey, it's easy for us to book this one. They're getting ready. I don't know what to say other than, are they getting ready to get rid of this company? Like, what's the logical conclusion for all of this weird shotgun booking, all of this? Hey, luckily we can do a draft. That'll pop the ratings. They were advertising that stuff at baseball games. I'm watching baseball on TV, seeing WWE logos in the background. And that's cool, like, as a wrestling fan, but it's also like they're really pushing the draft. Like, why are they pushing that so hard? Shouldn't they do something interesting every week that gets people to want to come? But I don't know, Geno. I know that Kevin and I talk about the bubble, like the WWE bubble. I think it's really finally starting to click in my head that it's bursting right in front of me.
I'm not entirely sure if that's the case. I think, again, because of all the stuff they had to do, Crown Jewel and their event before that, what was the pay-per-view before Crown Jewel?
Extreme Rules.
Extreme Rules. So again, they had like a good bit of
the
stuff
horror
going
show
on that they had to kind of rush through, and like they didn't have enough time to build Survivor Series. So they're just like, let's just do what we've been doing the whole entire show, brand versus brand, and just have stuff ready for that next pay-per-view, where we're going to have all these matches we've been really focusing mainly on our shows for.
But even this, like, there's nothing focused about this. Like, it's easy. We know we got brand versus brand. It's going to be, the Saturday before, they're not doing anything, right? I mean, this is on a Sunday. This is this Sunday, so they're not doing anything with this weekend. Like, in my head, Survivor Series could be SummerSlam. And if you put some stakes onto this thing and really made people believe this is one of the 4 biggest events of the year, like, when I was younger, I always felt like Survivor Series was the start of WrestleMania season. And I know that's really far, but you can kind of tell when, like, okay, I see that this guy's, like, we have a heel champion in November. I can kind of assume he's going to make it to WrestleMania in late March, early April, and that'll be when he finally loses it. That'll be when the babyface finally gets his moment. And I just felt like that was always kind of, if the champion survives Survivor Series, that's the next place I could see him losing the belt, unless he's Triple H. But like, now, I just don't know. Like, this seems like such a easy throwaway. Put it right here, sell tickets to it. People are going to want to go anyway. But it's just, I have no interest in this. Maybe that's why I've been watching Raw or SmackDown, because we're building to Survivor Series now, which has no meaning. Because even when that night, didn't Raw lose every match one night?
Every match that they counted for, except for one that they did not count.
The pre-show,
pre-show
right?
match,
yeah,
where the New Day won, and they're like,
why
they don't
not
count it?
Why not just have the SmackDown team win the pre-show match too? Like I have no idea.
No, because that was storyline. They're like, we want to have Raw win one, but we don't even recognize it, which was stupid.
Yeah.
And that year, that was stupid.
Because
Xavier Woods was the best part about that, where he was just talking shit like, we won the one match on Raw, and you don't talk.
Because even Stephanie never referenced it. Like nobody referenced it. We suck. It's like, well, we won one. No, we didn't. So either way, I'm looking at this card. I have very little. I know what the build is. Obviously, it's like you're saying. There's no build behind Priest and Nakamura. There's
only one match with build on this card.
No, I could argue there's. I mean, I can see the build for RK Bro and the Usos. I just watched Raw. Big E versus Roman. They've already been kind of feuding back and forth anyway. Like before the draft, it was kind of, is Big E going to cash in on Roman? Big E cashes in on Bobby. Roman tweets, good decision. Now they're finally having that match. Can Big E actually beat Roman since he beat, like, I know they're not telling me the storyline, but it's at least I can figure that one out. I look
the
at
story they're telling us though is about Woods, which Woods connects with Big E, and that's my whole thing. Is that's their story? Is New Day?
Well, sure, yeah. It's I'm going to beat up your friend because he's still on my show. He's going to bend the knee to me. You like this is what's going to happen to you. I'm beating up your friend. I like that. I think that's Roman's clearly the top heel. Big E is clearly the top baby. I think that's totally fine. Like I think it's going to be. I like this build.
And it makes sense that Roman loses.
Sure.
Non-title doesn't lose anything from it.
There's
no stakes.
He's going to win. I know I'm doing predictions with Kevin tomorrow, but Roman's definitely going to win. Like Big E is still, although he is WWE champion, I mean, Roman is just so clearly just the guy. And I think that he's being protected as the guy until WrestleMania, like I'm saying. Like, I think if Big E beats him, it kind of makes, like, who has beaten Roman this year? It hasn't happened. It's not going to happen in a throwaway non-title at Survivor Series.
It could. That's it. There's always the possibility. Davey might throw it away. That's the whole point. Is there's a possibility, and
Sure.
that's what Davey wants, is that little possibility. Because even though Woods has that tag match earlier in the card, most likely he could still get involved, just like the Usos could. Anything could happen.
When is Woods? No, you think the Survivor Series match is going to be before this match?
Yes.
And maybe it will be, but I don't know. Sometimes it seems like they value the Survivor Series thing, so they'll put it on last. Because there's really no stakes in any of these matches, so they can go whenever. None of them have, like, they could play a promo package before the Roman Reigns match, I guess, but they can also play one before this men's match. They could show us all the ins and outs of how the teams came together. And then
all the people getting kicked out and then getting replaced.
And then this women's Raw thing, that was not referenced a smidge on Hulu Raw. Like, I know that it was announced, like they showed me a graphic. So I was like, okay, that's happening.
Auld Lang Syne says Raiders suck ass.
Oh, the Raiders! They were so terrible, Geno. I went to work on Monday and everybody was giving me shit. Like, and now on Thanksgiving, I got to be worried about Thanksgiving now because it's Cowboys Raiders and I live in Dallas. And if the Raiders lose, I need to not go to work for the next week because everybody's going to be giving me shit. And it's on Thanksgiving, so luckily maybe people will forget. But I'm sure that I'll find some text like, hey, the Raiders, baby. So I'm not happy about that Auld Lang Syne. Thank you for that. No, thank you so much for listening, though, Geno. But, yeah, the women's match, know nothing about it. Don't really have any interest in it. Sasha's on one team. That's the team I hope wins. Although I do like Queen Zelina and Liv Morgan and Carmella and Bianca. I don't like Rhea very much. Am I in the minority on that?
Her debut run is not as great as NXT. And NXT.
Like her main roster run?
I can agree with that. Main roster run, very different.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, there's been nothing interesting about her on this main show for me. You, Charlotte, I'm going to beat you because I'm going to titty you while you would titty me. I was like, oh, God, turn this off.
It is odd life, by the way.
Turn this off. So the men's Survivor Series match, yeah, King Woods, Happy Corbin. Who's TBA? Who do you think's getting that last spot? Who's the SmackDown guy?
Boogs is going to be with Nakamura, so he won't be in that.
Could be.
And they could.
Could be Madcap. I know it says with Madcap Moss, but I would throw Madcap in there.
Yeah, Riddick Moss just put him in there. Be like, it's them both together.
Who's Riddick Moss? You mean Madcap?
It's some guy from NXT that I actually really liked that got ruined on the roster.
He was terrible in NXT, by the way. A gift sub. A gift sub. Hey, what? A new subscriber in Gump Nasty. What up, Gump Nasty? What up, Mr. Wolf? Use I fixed the exclamation point grit TTS so you guys can talk now. Geno, yeah, he was the worst. Him and Tino Sabatelli were the worst. That's why they didn't go anywhere. And even Riddick Moss and Raw Underground wasn't good. So Madcap is awesome. Are you protesting how awesome Madcap Moss is?
I enjoyed the gimmick and that he's free to express this new character, but I enjoyed Riddick Moss NXT. I know, yes, Tito was not that great.
He was better than Riddick Moss. That's weird that you say that.
Tito got released twice and Riddick's never been released, so that's better.
Yeah, that doesn't mean he's better, though.
Better than Tino.
I would rather watch Tino Sabatelli. I watched Breaking Ground, and he popped off the screen. I think Riddick Moss is just a generic football player that they brought in. I think Madcap Moss is awesome. I think there's nothing better than him telling a terrible joke. Hey, why do they put fences around graveyards?
Why?
Because everyone's dying to get in. Woo! Madcap rules, you know. So he better be the fifth man. Who's the fifth man? Is it Hogan?
And it could be anyone. It could be Hogan. It could be Mabel.
Could be Riker. Could even be Riker shows up. What brand is he on?
I don't remember what he got drafted on. I would assume Raw, but maybe SmackDown. Maybe it's Elias.
Could be Elias. I haven't seen him in a while. They're going to repackage
the dead guy is back.
All of these releases that have happened, Elias is safe, baby. We're not getting rid of Elias. So, yeah, and as far as predictions on this, I don't give a shit. Like, there's no stakes. If there was something that, like, even a storyline, there's not even a real storyline other than Seth. I mean, you look at this team: Seth, Balor, KO.
Poor kids are just as bright and just as talented as white kids.
And is MVP going to be there? Because they showed a graphic on Raw. Thank you so much, Mana Israel. Thank you so much, Odd Lang Sign. They showed a graphic on Raw. It was Bobby Lashley with MVP, and I was looking around like MVP's not there. Is MVP there, and I'm just not noticing him?
MVP was there last Monday night, but I don't remember if it was this Monday. If he was out there.
Okay. So I thought he was still hurt.
Was
I saw him rehabbing something. I didn't know he ever came back. So, okay, good. Well, hopefully MVP's involved. That'll be fun. So, yeah, this pay-per-view doesn't get my geese, goose, and Geno. How excited are you for Survivor Series?
Not at all.
Yeah, it sucks, right?
It's boring. It's boring.
Remember we watched Survivor Series 2003, and it was like a show with interesting storylines and ambulance matches and buried alive matches? Like, what is this?
Yes. Now we get just show versus show and find out which one of the branded wrestling product is better than the other one.
Even the Raw Survivor Series match at Survivor Series 03 had stakes. It was if Team Austin wins, he gets to stay on as the general manager. And he can hurt anyone without being physically provoked. If Bischoff wins, Austin's gone. And holy shit, Team Austin has to win. They better win. And then they lost. And then people were upset, so Austin came back as the sheriff of Raw. Wasn't a Koji him anymore. He was the sheriff of Raw. He had a four-wheeler. Amazing television. So I'm shocked that here we are in 2021 where I think it's so easy to bitch about WWE. I always try and defend WWE. I live in the bubble, like Kevin tells me. I want them to be successful. I want them to be the best wrestling product. And I was telling Geezy before you and I got on here, like, Impact is better than WWE in a lot of ways. Now, I know that it's in the Impact zone and it's smaller and I have lower expectations, but after watching that Impact, I can't wait to watch the other Impacts that I missed. Because even if, like, outside the storylines and everything, the matches are good. They actually give their matches some time, where it seems like WWE, we got to get to the next promo. Like, we really got to wrap up this little thing they're doing.
You remember when we super kicked you right in the face?
Thank you so much. Val_1 just joined, just followed. Geno, Turning Point's this weekend. Like, and that's the other thing is Impact with Turning Point and with their shows. I just have this different buzz where at least like TNA or Impact is like shitty, but they're trying. WWE is like supposed to be like filet mignon, and they're just kind of like taking a shit on me. Like, so I appreciate the effort. Does that make sense?
I think it does make sense, but I don't think it's been shit. Again, we have Minoru Suzuki who's been on the show pretty much every week, and because the tapings, he was there. And now this Thursday, he has the match that we've been waiting to see is him versus Josh Alexander.
Yeah, but I just mean like I watched Sam Beal cut a promo, and it was not a good promo, but I liked it. I just kind of thought, you know what, good for this kid. Like I watch it like you watch it. I watch it like, you know, good for this kid. They're giving him a shot. I don't think he has much, but they're letting him go with it. They're going to let him develop. I watched WWE, and you, Charlotte, like, I'll never let that go. I'll never forget that because it was on Raw. If it was on main event, I probably would let it go. But it's on Raw. It's on the A+ show, giving me a C- effort. Whereas Impact, I would, like, let's just be honest, it's the C show. You have like WWE, which is supposedly A, AEW, which would be B, which honestly, that's probably A now. And then Impact is clearly below both of those two pretty significantly. But their stuff to me, I'm more forgiving of it. You know, I don't know. It's hard to describe. Like, I know that I just said it's shit, and maybe it's not exactly like the definition. Like, I think Extreme Rules as a pay-per-view was shit. I think Bound for Glory was pretty good. Now, I don't know if I put them side by side, which one's better. If I actually sat here with no expectations, just match for match, which one would I like more? Storyline for storyline. I don't know. But I think because it's Impact, I'm more forgiving. Does that make sense? Or because it's the smaller one, I give it a little more room.
It does make sense, but I would have to say that, like, it's hard for some people to admit because, yes, we grew up with WWE or WCW for some, and then go win it to WWE, but we want to hope for the best with them, especially with all the talent they have, being with all the talent in the world WWE has. And they still are pulling out this product where Impact is consistently a better show than Monday Night Raw.
And look, I don't even know if it's consistent because I have not been watching Impact weekly. You know, and I love Moose. I love Josh Alexander. After Bound for Glory, I think I just hit like a wrestling. Okay, that was too much wrestling. I need a bit of a detox. Football's back. The World Series. Like, there was so much stuff happens in October. Hockey comes back. Ryan Getzlaf just got his 1,000th point. Go Ducks. Like, all of these things are happening. So, like, I did take a little bit of break from all wrestling, you know? So I think that watching this episode of Impact immediately after an episode of Hulu Raw, it was such a, like, even with the Caleb with a K versus Minoru Suzuki match I just watched, I was like annoyed as it was starting. I'm like, we have Minoru Suzuki, and we're giving him a match with Caleb with a K. Like, this is the epitome.
Suicide.
This is the epitome of like gimmicky bullshit Impact, like Wrestle House or Swingers Palace. Like, hey, we could do something really cool, or we could do Caleb with a K versus Minoru Suzuki. And as that match was starting, I was like, oh, this is so stupid. And it's going to go exactly the way I predicted, which it kind of did. But as I'm sitting there, I'm like laughing. I'm like, this is actually kind of fun. Like, and I'm having a good time. Whereas if that same scenario happens on Raw, where it's like, hey, we're bringing back a wrestling legend, and he's going to have a match with, and then, you know, so who's somebody that I don't like on NXT?
I don't know who you don't like on NXT right now.
Oh, one of the Creed brothers comes out. Like, let's just say, okay, Shawn Michaels is coming out of retirement for one more match, and it's against that one of those Joseph Creed or whatever that guy's name is. Like if we're having Shawn come back, we got to give him somebody. We got to give him somebody good. What have we never gotten out of Shawn? We got to get Shawn versus The Rock, or Shawn versus Dolph Ziggler, or Bobby Roode. But no, we're not going to do any of that. We're going to go Shawn versus, I can't think of anyone shitty in NXT that I know they're out there, Geno. I know a lot of people just got fired, so it's hard for me to think of them off the top of my head.
Ikemen.
I love Ikemen. You're the only one who hates him so much. Like, I think he's great.
As a singles, he's okay. He's better.
He's amazing.
And Kushita's really great.
No, because now we have two great singles wrestlers stuck in a stupid tag team, and the only reason they're in a tag team is because they're Japanese. Like, oh, hey, subtle unconscious racism. I don't know what to do with the Japanese guys. Put them in a tag team. Like, it's
at least their name is Jack.
And Impact, Ricardo. Impact can make the worst thing ever, but at least a human wrote it.
Says how about Shawn and Triple H versus Undertaker and Kane in fucking Saudi Arabia?
I'd rather have that than Shawn and Triple H versus the Creed brothers. Is that their name even?
That is the Creed brothers. Yes,
okay, the Diamond Mine
They're
guys.
great.
Those guys are terrible. Who else is terrible?
No, they're not.
I watch NXT and I think it's the worst, so I don't know why I can't remember. Oh, your guy, Joe Gacy. What if Shawn came back for a match with Joe Gacy? That would annoy me tremendously. But
that would be such a good match.
Oh, it'd be amazing. Barn burner. It'd be 6 stars in the Tokyo Dome. So with Turning Point coming up, I watched this Go Home show, and it was so
Not
good.
the Go Home show.
I watched this Go Home to the Go Home show because, I was just looking at the card. I'm like, there's only 5 matches. So we have one more show on Thursday. Like, I'm actually legitimately excited for this event this Saturday. Like, it went from I'm not really watching Impact
Gump
right
Nasty
now.
says Doink the Clown deserves one last match.
Yeah, Doink versus Shawn. That would be awesome. One more time, brother. So, but seriously, and I know you like Steve Macklin. Maybe that's who I meant. Like
yes.
Steve Macklin cut that promo and he was backstage with Trey Miguel, and they were both talking. And Scott D'Amore came up, and I just kind of thought, oh, this isn't good. Like, none of this.
This is good.
None of this is good. And even Trey talking, I was like, oh, can Trey not talk either? I thought Trey could talk.
Trey could talk sometimes. He needs good material. And him with Macklin, that's a big comparison where you get to realize that Macklin's better.
Whoa, no. All right, now do we need to watch it?
See that Macklin is better.
That was they were both terrible, and they were like Scott D'Amore came in and kind of helped him out.
Yes,
but
Scott's the best of the 3, of course.
Even Macklin coming out. I've lost 3 matches in a row.
Yes, he was an undefeated monster in all this stuff.
I was undefeated. Then I lost 3 in a row. But I deserve an X Division championship match.
He does, because he didn't get pinned in the triple threat.
Oh, he's look, and I love his theme song. His match at Bound for Glory wasn't terrible. But I'm still, come on. He's nowhere. Trey Miguel is an Impact legend. Can I say that? Can I use your word? He's a legend. Steve Macklin's just
rascals.
Steve Macklin's just a WWE guy taking somebody's spot.
Maybe so, but also I just remembered something small that Trey Miguel is actually wrestling against the Wolves. The Wolves come back on the 60th of January.
Trey Miguel's going to be. Oh, I think I just missed him. He was going to be here in Dallas. Yeah, it was supposed to be your boy Dalton Castle, and then Dalton Castle got hurt or something, and the replacement was Trey Miguel. And I was like, dude, who's booking this indie show? Bruce Pritchard? Like, hey, we got to give him something better. And what's better than Dalton Castle? Trey Miguel. I was upset that I saw the graphic that day. It's like, oh, why don't you guys tell me this beforehand? I would love to go see Trey Miguel. I'd like to see Dalton Castle too. But I'm just saying, it's like they were going to give me a sirloin, and then they gave me filet mignon. So I missed out on Trey Miguel. Hard to Kill, though, is going to be in Dallas. And then I think I have AEW is also going to be in Dallas that month. There's a lot of wrestling coming to Dallas.
Yep. I would assume, with it being Hard to Kill, they might also do the 2 tapings that next week.
They're probably going to do tapings. And then I know one year they did a show in Austin or something. They did Battle at the Brewery or something. And that was the day before Hard to Kill, or so I forget how they did it, or maybe it was the day after. But they can do some tapings here. MLW is going to be here in January. I might go to those tapings to see the Von Erichs. So I got to catch up on that too. So I'm back, baby. I loved watching Impact today, and maybe that's the stark difference where I'm watching WWE, I'm watching Raw, I'm watching the show that kind of created wrestling in a lot of ways, and now here I am watching Impact, and I'm just in it. And I'm like, this is my company, this little Impact that people kind of forget exists all the time. I pay $5 for the little Ultimate Insider thing. This is my little company. Where, AEW is clearly the hipster cool one. And WWE is still, it is for the kids, by the way. It's got to be. It's the only reason why some of these things are still happening. We didn't understand John Cena, but they did. They were like, look, we don't give a shit what you old guys are saying, okay? Go watch Ring of Honor. This is for the kids. The kids are buying this John Cena shirt. We make a new color every 2 months, and these things sell like crazy. So I don't give a fuck what all you old men think who are still watching this kid show. Go find something else. And we found it. We found AEW. We found New Japan. We found MLW. We found Impact Wrestling, Geno. I think I'm finally waking up to the bubble that Kevin always talks about.
Yes, you're finally starting to see that WWE is not the only option. You've known that for a while, but you don't have to just always defend it. You can say when it's bad and still be a fan of it.
Yeah, well, and I'm even shit. I think we talked about this. Like, there are people that just watch Impact. There are people that just watch AEW. Imagine how liberating that is to not watch WWE. Like, to not watch Raw, to not watch SmackDown, to not watch NXT. You just have no WWE. You have no idea what's going on in Connecticut or in Orlando. Your world is Nashville, or your world is Jacksonville, or your world is Philadelphia lately for MLW for some reason, because Core Power loves he loves the ECW arena. But like, imagine just not doing that. Like, imagine just that's your world. I could live in the Impact world, I think.
And I think a lot of people could, if they really give Impact a chance, get to watch the show for like a month, understand these characters, and start to actually be invested in them.
I think this Turning Point show is going to be really good. And I don't mean to, I know that I'm like high on wrestling right now. Eddie Edwards is the number one contender, and I hate Eddie Edwards. But how exciting is this match? I don't like Eddie Edwards. I think he's one of the worst.
No, you don't hate him.
Yeah.
The Wolves.
He's top 5. Yeah. The Wolves is great. Yeah. But Eddie Edwards is not. Like, it's very, like, the Rockers are great. Marty Jannetty is not. Like, it's easy to do that. So, by the way, Marty Jannetty's wrestling at Empire Wrestling Federation at Covina next month. I wish I could go. He is so far away. I wish I could be there, but I can't. Yeah, Eddie won that triple threat, and I just thought, this sucks. Like, why Eddie? But can't wait to see this match, because even Matt Striker, by the way, worst announcer in the world is still Matt Striker.
He's fine. He's not that bad.
We get to watch Madison Rayne compete, a future Hall of Famer, much like we get to watch Tom Brady play football every Sunday, and we get to see Freddie Freeman on the diamond. I'm like, oh my fucking God.
Did he really making good comparisons?
That's a good comparison to you.
She's a real Hall of Famer like all of them.
But
we're in the middle of this greatest generation where we can watch all these future Hall of Famers.
Tom Brady is the greatest football player ever. Is Madison Rayne the greatest women's wrestler ever?
Well, as we saw in the Impact, it was one of the best matches that she's probably had was against Mickie James.
Freddie Freeman's like a 5-time All-Star MVP. Is he a future Hall of Famer for sure? Like, he's still kind of young. Is he a future Hall of Famer?
Yes, because he can only go up from here.
No, he can't. That's not true. He can go down. But I just, like, we get it. This is Impact Wrestling. Keep it in. We talk about the WWE bubble. We need the Impact bubble. We need Matt Striker.
No.
We need him to not tell me, Arsenal and Man City tore it up this Saturday, and that's what you're seeing right here. It's like, dude, shut up. He's the worst.
He's not if you need to watch other commentators and realize that he's not the absolute worst.
No, that doesn't make him good. That doesn't make him good, though. That's what I'm saying. Is
but
like,
you can't say the worst. You
he's
can
the
say
worst.
He's bad.
Okay, fine. I'll say he's terrible then. I'll say he's top 3 worst announcers ever in the history of wrestling, and that's not just a fact. That's undisputed. Like, it's I can't name anyone worse. I'd rather watch GCW announcers. If that's what you're saying.
Well, again, Kevin Gill's a legend in commentary because, again, going from JCW to GCW and technically still now JCW Jersey Championship Wrestling. But, like, there are bad commentators that I've watched because I've watched some, like,
but I'm just saying, as far as
even more indie than GCW.
But I'm talking mainstream wrestling. I'm talking, they have a show on Access. Like, I don't know if that's a channel that a lot of people get, but at least it's a television network. And you look at Michael Cole, you look at Jimmy Smith, you look at Excalibur, you look at everyone who's got a television show. I think Matt Striker is by far the worst one. Even the Ring of Honor guy, whose name I can't remember, I think he's better. What's his name? Rob Bocelli or something?
ROH commentator. I'm trying to remember his name too. Let me pull that up.
Doesn't matter. He's better. Him and that little black dude, those guys are way better than Matt Striker.
On television, I could agree with him being not as good as the others, yes.
Which would make him the worst. Like, he's even worse than Kevin Kelly. And when I'm watching New Japan, I'm kind of thinking, like, remember JR used to do this? What happened to that? So, I don't know. He takes me out of it sometimes. I have to lower the volume. But other than him, like, D'Lo's great. as terrible as Matt Striker is, D'Lo comes in, and I love D'Lo Brown. I don't know why. Is it because the expectations are lower for him?
No, it's because D'Lo Brown is D'Lo Brown.
It's just, yeah, it's
D'Lo is always great.
We have D'Lo, and it's not even like he had this outstanding. He was over. Got to give it to him, the real deal now. But it's not like he had this amazing long run as a top guy in wrestling. And it's still fun to just have him here. He's been with Impact for a long time. He was in and out, but it's still, he was there in 2002. He was doing the TNA pay-per-view days and came back as an agent, got released, came back as an agent again. I don't know how he landed this gig. Like, I don't know why they put him in this scenario. Because before the pandemic, who was the commentators? Josh Matthews and the Pope?
It was Josh and Madison, I believe, still.
Oh, even before, because I thought she only did the commentary because of the pandemic. They were recording the commentary from their house.
But I remember they were doing that still. Like, it depends like how far back we gotta go back. Oh,
yeah, I'm just trying to think before Madison, who was next to Josh Matthews? Because I know there was an era where they had the Pope, they had Jeremy Borash, I think, for a little bit. Obviously there was the Taz era, but I think Don Callis, he was there for a while doing commentary.
Yeah, Don and Josh was really good.
I just like Josh so much more than Matt Striker. I just don't get why Matt Striker is the name that they landed on as far as like, this is a good idea. He'd be fine as a color guy, I think. I think if he sits there and just kind of chimes in every once in a while and talks about, this is why you watch the Royal Rumble, because you never know. Like, those moments are funny. But him trying to do a move by move, him trying to make this match relate to something in pop culture, I just think it's so douchebaggery. I don't know. I can't think of a word.
I understand that opinion. I think he's not as bad as, I've heard worse. So I know there's worse. But again, I can understand.
But that doesn't make it okay, is what I'm trying to say. Like,
I just think that Impact, what they could do, again, this could be an interesting decision they could make, since he's free, and I don't know like what he's been doing. Tom Phillips.
Yeah, get Tommy, get Todd Grisham. There's these other WWE rejects. I think you just keep Josh. What's wrong? What's wrong with Josh? Like, that's my question. Is like,
Split Master Sexy says, I'm marking out, bro.
You never know. Like, yeah, like as far as what they have, where they have, just throw Josh in there and make it a 3-man booth if that's the case. If you need Matt Striker that much, Ian Riccaboni or whatever his name is. That's,
Riccaboni.
Yeah,
yes, Ian Riccaboni.
That's the guy from Ring of Honor. And yeah, like honestly, if that's our options, where it's like we have Matt Striker or Josh Matthews, I want Josh Matthews. Well, we need Matt Striker. Okay, we'll put him as like the third man in the booth. He was also an in-ring competitor. It makes sense. He can also comment on how he was even talking on this Impact I just watched about he used to work the indies with Xavier and the other Ring of Honor guy. So it was just, he used to work these shows. He knows that grind. Let's put him in that position that he was in WWE. Or we're not going to be able to bring him a Vampiro. But I don't think that he and D'Lo don't have the same chemistry that he and Vampiro had, and him and Lucha is completely different than him and Impact. Like, it's not even because in Lucha he wasn't trying to pull pop culture shit. Like, he was really keeping it about the temple, the believers. Lucha Underground is Lucha Underground, and this is where we keep everything. Even the wrestlers aren't allowed to wrestle anywhere else, right? We have these contracts, and he goes to Impact. And maybe it's his directive. Maybe it's because they record the commentary, right before the event airs or something. But he just tries to make it so, in the Atlanta Braves just won the World Series. It's just like Alicia Edwards getting this opportunity tonight. Like that's his comparisons are not very good. Maybe that's the other issue. Is I sit there listening to this guy who probably honestly knows a lot about sports. He sounds like he knows a lot. But when he makes some of these comparisons, I'm like, dude, just shut up. Like, just make Impact about Impact. Compare this to Kurt Angle. Compare this to AJ Styles. Compare this to Aldis. Like, you have all this history that you can pull from. Why are you trying to pretend that this is like this thing that everybody's watching?
Again, like, I understand that perspective. And again, it's him doing his thing because he does want to be a sports analyst. He wants to make this into a sport and be up there with Rio Sports.
But when I'm watching
treat this different.
But have you watched, like, I know he watches sports. When you listen to Joe Buck doesn't the whole time try and make oh, we're watching football here, so I better bring up the Premier League. I better bring something else up. Like, if you're a play-by-play guy, you do play-by-play. You call what's happening. You might bring up a story or how it relates to something that happened earlier in the night. You know, I don't mind when he's doing that kind of stuff. You know, when he can call back to something that happened earlier in the match and he keeps telling that story. But other than that, him trying to pull, it's only when he pulls from the outside world, I think, is when it's just so douchey and so he wants me to think that Impact Wrestling is the biggest thing in the world. And it's not. And that's okay. I like that it's not the biggest thing. I like that it's not on Peacock. I like that it's not having these massive events in Saudi Arabia or whatever. Like, I like that it's its own little thing, but let's at least not pretend like we're this huge deal, because you're not fooling anyone. Like, if this guy's trying to compare one of his athletes to Tommy Brady, and look, I agree, Madison Rayne, great, my favorite probably knockout of all time. I agree with that, but if somebody who's never watched Impact before sees Madison Rayne and then flips over and sees like Becky and Bianca and all these other women, it's going to just kind of in your head go, wait, which one's more legit? I watched this person they said who was Tom Brady wrestle in front of 18 people. Now I'm watching these women wrestle in front of 8,000. So who's the Tom Brady?
And I would say in actual wrestling, someone like Madison Rayne and Mercedes Martinez is the Tom Brady of wrestling.
How could you say that though? They like Tom Brady's the best because he's won 7 Super Bowls. Like he's won multiple MVPs on the biggest stage. Now there's guys that are lifers as far as quarterbacks go, and I'm just trying to point out. And I know we're arguing about Tom Brady right now, but it's also I'm looking at it from a viewer from the outside, and you're saying, oh well, a true wrestling fan would know that. I could absolutely argue that Bianca Belair in her way smaller time in WWE has done more than Mercedes has done. And I love Madison Rayne, but has done more than Madison. Like, I just look at her main eventing or WrestleMania. Like, her 1 year is insane. It's a Goldberg year. So I look at that as like, oh wow, when she retires, I think people are going to remember her more than Madison Rayne. And that's not just the casuals. That's you and me. I think we're going to be able to point to more Bianca Belair matches and moments than we would Madison Rayne at this point.
Because our memory is going to fade by the time that she retires. And we're going to forget a little bit about like people from Impact during this time period and from their past. And we're going to be like, oh, there was Bianca. She was in when we were this age. We can kind of still remember that.
No, I think Bianca's here to stay. I think she's going to be around for a while in WWE on the main roster. She did a KOD to Tamina, okay? She's over like Rover. So
but also it's in, we bring up Tamina, and like that's a woman who Davey did not get a chance to really earn the top. Actually, did once and then didn't do anything with it.
Who's this? Who are we talking about?
Tamina.
Oh, okay.
They have a lot of women, but they only really pick 4 or 5. Being now like Bianca, Rhea, Charlotte, Becky, sometimes Sasha now, but not as much. Geno just loses it right after. So that would be like Bailey. Like they only like 5, 6 women. They just switch titles between them back and forth. So the title, whenever they win it, doesn't really mean as much.
I think it means a lot. I think it means more when you're only having this many women involved with it, because it does show, hey, we have a lot of fucking faith in these people. So I don't know what that means exactly, like that argument. I do think that, clearly, yeah, are they as valued as the WWE and the Universal Championship? Not necessarily, but neither is the Knockouts. Like I think that that's a weird. Like, I don't know. I was talking about Mercedes and Madison. You brought up Tamina. Like, I don't. Tamina.
Gotta bring up these comparisons.
I know you love Tamina. I know that you're the big. Does the squared circle not like her? Is that why you defend her so much?
No, squared circle I think does like her because they know that nobody's meaner than Tamina.
Nobody's meaner. Yeah. Well, I mean, she's got it in her blood. So
yes.
Yeah. Look, I like Tamina and everything. Yes, I agree. Was she never a champion? No, but that's okay. Like, I don't know. I think the argument that, oh, well, she should have been champion, like that almost devalues it. If, like I've said 100 times, if everyone wins the championship, it's no longer coveted. It's no longer valuable.
Again, I can understand that perspective, but only having the same 4 or 5 people over the past few years makes it seem as though you're just keeping it between those people. Hot Potato, it gets someone there in the record books as the best, and no one else is. When it comes to next generation, you're not really booking to them. It's just this generation is what we focus on, and we don't care about the next.
I don't know. There's been 4 Raw Women's Champions this year. 5, I think. What do you mean? Like they just hot potato it around? Like Rhea, Asuka, Nikki, Charlotte, Becky, Bianca. Like a lot of these people. I mean, I know Bianca didn't hold the Raw one, did she? But either way, like there's women who get involved and they get switched in and out. I do think that they need some sort of WWE dark. Like they do need more matches that people can just watch. Like, oh, how come I didn't see Rhea on Raw? Oh, thank goodness she had a match on Heat. Like, I think they do need something like that. Like, I do agree that it is weird when you don't just like, oh, where have they been? I have no idea. Like, I agree with that. But I mean, other companies do that too. I just watched Impact and I heard Emma's song twice. And I did not see Emma one time, Geno. I was very confused.
Because it's the Influence. You heard the Influence's song twice.
Yes, that's what I learned.
Yes.
That song's for the Influence. But Madison Rayne, although part of the Influence, I'm pretty sure it's well known, at least for us hardcore wrestling fans, Geno, like myself. She has the greatest theme song in TNA history. Why is she coming out to Emma's theme song?
Because she's a part of this team and she has to support her teammates.
Well, Matt Stryker even called her the Queen Bee. So did D'Lo. I'm like, this is the Queen. Why is she not waving? Why are we not having the Killer Queen song? They need to be kissing her feet.
Because this was a more serious moment, having this dream match on television of Mercedes Martinez versus Madison Rayne.
It was a serious moment. That's why she found someone holding a camera in the crowd and posed on her walk to the ring. It's serious. Where's Caleb? He usually takes my pictures. So yeah, it seemed like a very serious moment for her.
It was a serious match. It was a dream moment for her, just like it's going to be a dream moment for Mickie James, as we see on this card tonight, this Saturday. Yes, we probably will still have a couple more matches announced tomorrow, Thursday.
They'll add 3 more matches. They'll make it an 8-match card. But
we have Mickie James defending her just acquired at the last pay-per-view Women's Knockout Championship against Mercedes Martinez, and I feel that Mercedes is going to win.
I think so too. I think the build, at least from what I've seen, like they just had Mercedes kind of turn heel. It's one of those, like she attacks Mickie after, like, you know, Mercedes had the match. Mercedes won that match. Madison attacks Mercedes. Mickie comes down to like save Mercedes, and D'Lo's like, it's pretty honorable that she would to help her opponent out. You know, that's pretty impressive, pretty cool. And then, you know, Mercedes attacks Mickie, and then of course we should just pull commentary of Matt Stryker because he's so terrible. Like, why would she do that? And Matt Stryker just goes, money. And I was like, oh God, this is the worst show I ever watched, but I love it. And so Mercedes kind of turns heel, but it's one of those, like, I don't think people hate her more for that, do they? Like,
because she's an OG.
Yeah, you have your finger on the pulse of Reddit. Like, wrestling fans aren't mad at Mercedes for attacking Mickie. It's almost understood that, no, she's been wrestling for 25 years. She knows that she's never won any of these important titles. This is her last chance. She needs to beat up Mickie before the match to win it.
And she has to win it, I feel. This is going to be a big-time match. And, yes, this means that Mickie's thing might have just been short run, just be like, make a big surprise move that she beats Deonna, where maybe Deonna shouldn't have lost, in my opinion, in that great match. She should have won. Because I think Deonna and Mercedes going to be a bigger match, and maybe, again, Mercedes wins this. So at Hard to Kill, we get Deonna and Mercedes.
Yeah, that match will still happen. I think that, like you said about Big E, like, well, hey, anything could happen. Mickie won. It was an exciting match. You didn't like it?
I did like it, but I just felt like I would have rather seen, but again, we're going to see this if I'm right about like the idea of Deonna and Mercedes over Mickie and Mercedes. So we're going to see this Saturday if Mickie and Mercedes could be as good of a match as I think it could be, or if it could be better and exceed my expectations, where it could be better than my idea of.
You hate Mickie James. It's so strange. I look at this as 2 of the biggest names in female wrestling history. Mickie James, Mercedes Martinez, 2 OGs. Matt Stryker told me that they used to wrestle each other all the time up and down the East Coast indie scene. These are 2 pioneers of female wrestling, and they finally are competing for the TNA Knockouts Championship in Las Vegas, live. Impact Wrestling Ultimate Insiders. And you're like, Well, hopefully it'll exceed my expectations.
Yes, I just have somewhat high expectations, and hopefully it will exceed.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not that excited for it, but maybe it'll exceed them. I don't know. Like this match, I'm liking this match too much. Like I think this is gonna be awesome. I think Impact Wrestling is awesome, Geno. I'm giving them an A+ before the show even starts, and you're like, it's probably a D, and hopefully.
No, I would give it an A at least. And again, if this match exceeds my expectations, I probably will, like I said, because again, Mickey and Deanna really exceed my expectations.
You just hate Mickey. Come on, it's Mickie James. It's top 5 women's wrestler ever.
I don't know if that's entirely. That might be a subjective opinion to have.
Who's do we need to keep doing this? Like when you think women's wrestling, she's got to be one of the first names. It's like Gail Kim, Trish, Mickey, Moolah. Who else?
Lita.
5. There you go. Lita fits in there. I would take a Mickie James over Lita though. I know Lita did a moonsault, but she also was injured for like her whole career. So I'm taking Mickey, dude. Mickie James rules. Remember Impact Wrestling and like when you first started watching in like 2008? I mean, it was Mickie James, Gail Kim. That was like that's all we had. We hung on to that.
It was Awesome Kong, Gail Kim.
And then we got
we had Jacqueline, Gail Kim first. Jackie.
Amazing stuff. And yes. I don't. So as soon as Mickie James showed up in TNA, you're like, oh, it's dead. The women's
it's not dead. I was like, this was a big moment, yes, with Mickie James and her theme that was right before Hardcore Country, which was interesting.
I love the Hardcore Country song though.
Yes, Hardcore Country was great, and then like her theme before was like, I thought she had a theme before Hardcore Country, right?
Well, she was in TNA in like 2002, so yeah, she's probably
her very first theme 2002.
Yeah. Alexis LeRae was definitely in Impact Wrestling way back then. So I mean, think of it that way. She's been around since the first Asylum years of Impact Wrestling. Like she's a pioneer, Geno. I don't know why you look at her as like, well, she's not as good as Gail, she's not as good as Kong, she's not as good as Raisha Saeed, but I mean, she's okay.
She's true. And Raisha Saeed is another legend, which I wish she'd come back.
A legend. All right, let's settle down.
She is. Cheerleader Melissa is really good.
You're disrespecting Mickie James, and now you're telling me Raisha Saeed, Cheerleader Melissa is a legend. Can you at least
again all the stuff she did in TNA? Don't you remember all her gimmicks?
Can you just admit that Mickie James is a legend then?
Yes, she's a legend.
I was like, it's infuriating to argue with you about how good Mickie James is, and then for your retort to be Cheerleader Melissa was great. Like,
and she was.
She wasn't a pioneer like Mickie James.
For TNA, yes, she was.
No, Mickie James was there first.
And then she left to go to the Fed.
She went, to, as you say, sometimes you have to make a bigger name for yourself. You have to feed your families. Like you've said these things to me.
Yes, but then you've said that she left us. She left TNA. You don't have any respect for her because she leaves.
No, they didn't leave TNA. That was Dixie era. Like what that was AJ's gone. Like everybody left. All of these things happened. You know how it was. Mickey had to get out. Gail had to get out.
But then why don't you agree with Alex Shelley? He needed to get out.
No, because TNA is great right now. Because Impact. So you think Impact's as shitty as it was 10 years ago or whenever when the Dixie thing was happening? Impact is great right now.
It's always great. That's the game. 10 years ago it was great.
No, you saw Hogan. Good. You told me when Dixie was holding Hogan's leg, this is the worst thing that ever happened.
That was when they died. Yes, but again, I don't
think
died.
It was like you just said they died. So when they died, Mickey left. Good. Mickey left. Gail left. Sting, Bully Ray, Ken Anderson. Everybody left. Geno. All right. So it's okay if they leave. Then
made it work.
If Alex Shelley leaves me now, and I have a singles Chris Sabin who's backstage arguing with. Who was he just arguing with? Ace Austin? If I have him,
I think it was Ace.
Yeah, but like I could. We had the Motor City Machine Guns.
But we get Chris Sabin. Hail Sabin. That's another big thing. We have Chris Sabin here, and now we have Alex Shelley working independence, and this is going to be able to push Alex Shelley up even more. But we already know he is. We already know he's great.
No, he sucks now. He left us. See, he left us. People that left in 2014 who weren't getting checks, weren't getting paid on time from Dixie, from the Carter family in Dallas, all of that stuff. You have a reason to leave. Like that's completely apropos. Alex Shelley, hey, we're advertising a tag team match. You and Chris Sabin and a 6-man tag. Oh, Shelley doesn't want to come. Okay, Moose will just be thrown in there. I thought him and Rich Swann hated each other. Ignore that. Fucking put it together.
No, it wasn't ignored. It made sense that he wanted to still fight the enemy that was AEW.
That was
He realized we
AEW.
need to stop the elite, and he was like gonna set aside his differences for the moment to then get after that.
Gino, we sat through Rich Swann, Motor City Machine Guns from the D. I played the promo like it was the worst.
Yes,
we sat through that. And we had, okay, fine, I'll deal with that as long as I get a 6-man tag with Rich Swann and the Motor City Machine Guns. And Alex Shelley decided pay-per-view day, or like the week of, I can't make it. I'm out of here. You guys do a backstage segment. Moose will be the new tag partner. I'm out of here. You guys have fun. I'm going to go fight in the Opera Cup. Like, what does this mean? Why not?
That was months later. Again, he was again injured, kind of. But
No, he wasn't. No, that's been refuted.
He was worried about his health possibilities,
Mm-hmm.
And we don't know for sure. So again, he waited a little while, came back to wrestling, and
did he come back to Impact? Did he come back to Impact?
He could.
No, did he?
He could, because we could get this big moment for the Mercy Machine Guns, because since we have again him focusing on Ace Austin has Madman Fulton. We have Chris Sabin. He might be a tag team partner, and who could it be?
James Storm or Moose, because Alex Shelley is afraid of getting sick. No.
Well, Moose has a match already on the card, and this could be right now on the card. We could have Ace Austin.
Sabin doesn't have a match on this card either. There's no Sabin on here.
I think they both do. We could get them both. We could
No,
get a
and
tag
look,
match.
that's probably going to be booked on this card is Ace Austin versus Sabin. But I'm just pointing out that Alex Shelley left us holding the bag is way different than Mickie James abandoning ship when they were having the Divas do car washes backstage with Karen Jarrett. So I'm pretty sure what I'm saying is very valid, Gino. You know, people hear me argue with you, and they go like, all he does is argue with Gino. It's because you say things like this. Mickie James is a legend. She's an actual legend. Gangrel's not a legend. Mickie James is a legend. And you treat her with such weird disrespect.
It's not disrespect. That's the thing. It's not disrespect. I just have, again, different ideas and beliefs, and I do feel that she is a legend in her own right. Yes.
And my right, and everyone's right. Top 5 women's wrestler ever.
That's debatable.
She's had good matches. Like, there's other women's wrestlers. Like,
yes.
When I hear, like, okay, what's your favorite Lita match? Like, everyone says, oh, her and Trish on Raw. Is it because Lita almost killed herself with a suicide dive? Like, name another good Lita match.
The good Lita match be Team Extreme against, was it Dudley's? Where it was 3-on-3, where they had Stacy, I believe. I don't remember if that was one match or not.
That sounds like shit. Stacy had a 6-man tag. Like, no,
yeah, Stacy was cool. You didn't like Stacy in the ring.
She's not a wrestler. She's just
yes, she is.
Long set of legs there, my friend. Her lingerie pillow fight at WrestleMania 20 was awesome. But no, absolutely, Mickie James has had some bangers. So I'm a Mickie James fan. I think it's strange to meet another wrestling fan who thinks cheerleader Melissa had better contributions to the business than Mickie.
The TNA.
I think that. Well, hey, how many knockout championships does your cheerleader?
She doesn't
Melissa
need
have?
to win any if they didn't get. Again, they never gave her the opportunity.
How many posters has she been on? What do you say? You know why they didn't give her the opportunity?
She's been on 2.
You know why? Because she couldn't wrestle, my friend. Mickie James could
yes,
wrestle.
she could.
Mickie James has had certified bangers, and you're about to see another one with Mercedes Martinez. So Mickie James, Mercedes Martinez. James is probably losing. I do agree with you that it was like a huge moment for her to beat Deonna, and now we're going to be able to pass it over to Mercedes, and this will lead to Mercedes versus Deonna at Hard to Kill, and I will be there.
Yes. So yeah, that's one match we finally were able to discuss and get down after, like an hour? Already we discussed the first match on this great card, and now we can discuss the next big match we have, which again is...
hold on. I just like to say, I like when you drive sometimes. Like I throw it to you for like your
Split
response.
Master Sexy says, remember Mickey's Thus Press from the cage.
Do you remember that, Gino? Do you remember the Thesz from the top?
Yes, I do remember
She's
the
amazing.
press from the top.
You know what?
Remember Kurt Angle's moonsault from the top.
We know what we're gonna do is just watch Mickie James matches tomorrow night or on Thursday night. We're just
we already have a decision made. It seems
canceled it. We're watching Mickie James only. I'm gonna put together a playlist of my favorite Mickie James moments, and we're gonna win you over, Gino, because she might even be top 3 now. The more we talk about it, but I love when you just I'm waiting for you to give me some feedback or a response, and you go yes, but also another match that's interesting. It's like I wasn't ready to go there. And like Geno, this is me. I drive the car, but I'll let you drive. Go ahead.
Yes, what I was saying is on this card, on this amazing Impact pay-per-view we're going to have, we have our guy Trey Miguel against a man you and I and only a few other people who remember like All In and other events in wrestling, Laredo Kid.
What does that mean?
Great exhibition match.
Hold on,
Very few
why?
people remember Laredo Kid. Not that many people watch Laredo Kid matches.
Wait, why?
He was
Why are you
All
saying
In with Bandito?
How do you know
and,
that? Why are you
Phoenix.
saying that? Why are you saying that? How do you know that nobody remembers Laredo Kid? He was number 20 on the PWI 500.
Yes, he was that, but I'm saying to some audiences, they don't remember Laredo Kid. They just think he's just a masked guy like Bandito.
Wait, who are you? But who though? Who thinks? Is it Kevin? Is that who you're talking to? Like who's that? What do you mean?
There are people on the internet wrestling community that do not respect Laredo Kid.
What a
they
bunch
don't
of
watch other wrestling.
What a bunch of pieces of shit, Geno. They don't remember
Yes.
Laredo Kid from All In, huh?
Yes, he was in All In again with Bandito and Ray Phoenix.
You found
Also
them.
Ray was.
You found them. You found the people that don't remember Laredo Kid. So yeah, Laredo Kid but it's not for sure a singles match. Steve Macklin has a match with Laredo Kid this Thursday, and he could be inserted into the match. But isn't he losing just kind of to keep his losing streak thing happening?
I have a feeling if he wins, Laredo Kid is still going to lose at the paper.
Well, also, if we have Steve Macklin in this match, isn't that just a rematch of BFG?
Was that Laredo Kid in that match? Yeah.
See, look,
yes,
Geno, I know that you don't remember this, but Laredo Kid was on the All In card. He was actually teaming with Bandito, who's also currently the Ring of Honor champion. I know you don't watch wrestling, but Bound for Glory, Laredo Kid was in a triple threat match with Trey Miguel and Steve Macklin. Are we just going back to that well? Where's Ari Sterling? Where's the sauce?
See, that is the big question. Nori Sterling right now is focusing on Ring of Honor, because then we do have currently right now, since we're talking about cards, 7 matches on that card already announced. But that's
Which card? What are you talking about?
Final Battle.
Oh, they already announced
yes,
matches?
7
I thought it
matches.
was in December.
There are 7 matches already set for Final Battle
Whoa.
that I see on their Wikipedia page.
When is that?
That is December 11th, I believe. Yes, 11th of December.
If I'm free, we're gonna have to watch that one live.
Yes, we will.
Yeah, that's gonna be interesting. That's the send off, right? They're not gonna do any television tapings after that, right?
Nope.
Because I know
They're
Jay
just gonna do,
Lethal,
like, highlights and shit.
Jay Lethal was on Ring of Honor this past Monday, which is like, what? I thought he was all elite, but they
Poor
clearly.
kids are just as bright and just as talented as white kids.
Thank you, Spliff. Look at Randy's body. That's what a wrestler looks like, Geno. That's why people don't like Laredo Kid, okay? That's why they forgot all about him. Is that, oh, yeah, just another Laredo Kid. So, okay, I think Trey Miguel's keeping the belt.
Yes, I agree.
The Inspiration. Cassie Lee, Jesse McKay taking on Decay. They're kind of posing Decay like super baby faces. And the Inspiration are like dirty heels, right? Is that what's going on with this Undead Bride tag team?
Yes. It does seem the Undead Brides are kind of in between because, like, yes, they're heels because they're killing people, but they're also kind of baby faces because it's for Sue, and Sue's kind of a baby face.
I'm picking the Inspiration. I
You still
have
think
no
it's going to be
idea.
Inspiration? Like, I could see the Inspiration retaining, but I also could see Decay winning. I'm gonna probably go with Decay.
I don't like Rosemary. Can I say that for the 1000th time? Like even when I was
you don't like Courtney Rush at all.
even when I
know
was
you don't like
watching,
Living Legend.
like when Brandy Loren came out with makeup on, I was like, this is Rosemary's fault. Like I was like, this is the worst
at all.
thing. I'm watching this happen. I'm not even rooting for anyone, and I love Impact. All right, I know I said that, but I just watched this episode. And I'm like, why is this happening? We have Brandy, who's gorgeous, cover her makeup. We have Kimberly, who's terrible, cover her makeup. Like it's just this weird. Like this is the part like where Scott D'Amore is like, just do whatever you guys want, okay? And then this is what they did. So
it's not whatever they want. They still have a storyline they're following through. This whole Undead Bridesmaids is going to have a combination, which could be Sue Young winning the Knockouts Championship.
Oh, that sounds terrible. In this era of Mickey James, Mercedes Martinez, and Deanna Purrazzo's, and Madison Rain and Emma, like this is clearly the greatest women's evolution we're ever having. but we're gonna ruin it with some fake Bray Wyatt shit. Like it's embarrassing. So okay, Geno, my Geno impression. Yes, you're right, but we also have an amazing tag team match on this outstanding card that we get to watch on Impact Plus or Ultimate Insiders on YouTube.com/Impact Wrestling. The Good Brothers, the tag champs, taking on the Bullet Club. And now it says Chris Bay and Hikuleo. Didn't what's the guy that you like? El Phantasmo? Is that his name?
ELP, El Phantasmo.
Yeah, didn't he win the match? Why is he not in it?
I think he won it for the team, so they could be a part. So it's going to be at least Bullet Club members, which they chose Chris Bay and Hikuleo.
Freebird rules. And plus they had the stare down with Hikuleo and Gallows. So
which is going to be a great face-off.
It makes sense. Yeah, this pairing makes sense. I mean, I love Chris Bay and all, but honestly, I mean, what happened to ELP? Didn't he get the pinfall? Who got the pinfall?
I don't remember. We need to watch it back.
Yeah. Well, I don't like ELP anyway, so this is fine. I like Chris Bay. So tag team titles on the line, Geno. The Good Brothers are the champs. Bullet Club are challenging. Now, they were also challenging at Bound for Glory. Now, and this is also two heel teams, right? Or neither one of these are like babyface. Finjuice is the babyface.
Finjuice is the babyface, but I would say in this pairing, Bullet Club is the babyface.
No way. Bullet Club? No. Good Brothers is babyface. They haven't been hanging out with the Elite.
Would never be babyface.
But they haven't been hanging out with the Elite in a while. It just seems like they've just been teaming. They've just been tag teaming. Two heel teams. Maybe Finjuice gets inserted in the match on Impact. Maybe something happens because
maybe we could do a triple threat again. Why not do a rematch?
Put a ladder in there and let's make this shit fucking Full Metal Mayhem. I'm a big fan of Finjuice. I don't know how many more times I could say that. Like I was cleaning the kitchen, just going, "'Cause we are Finjuice." So I'm hoping that they get involved, and I'm picking Finjuice to win this match.
I'm picking the Good Brothers because they're wanting to keep teasing the idea of GOD. It's got to be GOD and Good Brothers. It's gonna happen one day, and it's got to be for the TNA Tag Team Championships.
I think it's gonna be Finjuice winning, and then they're just gonna be the champs forever, and then we're just gonna constantly go, "'Cause we are Finjuice." And
they're going to have the Impact team and not their New Japan.
It's going to be Finjuice versus Dangerous Techers at Hard to Kill. And I'm going to be there, and I can't wait. So let's take a look. Last match that's announced, Moose and Eddie Edwards. Title match. Eddie Edwards kind of sucks, but it makes sense that he gets the first crack at Moose. Moose needs a good win to solidify himself as the champion. Josh Alexander comes out afterwards, gets in his face, and says, "You, me, Dallas, Hard to Kill. Let's go."
That is most likely what's going to be because we both can agree that Moose is going to win this match and solidify him being the greatest world's champion in the entire current landscape of professional wrestling.
He's not even top 4. I mean, he's probably number 4. I mean, like, no offense to him, but you look at Big E, you look at Roman, you even look at Ciampa. You look at Adam Page. I mean, this is rough, dude. I don't know if Moose is top 4.
He is. I would say even though I'm a big fan of Ciampa, I think he's right now, this Moose that we have in 2021 is better than Ciampa.
Is he better than Bandito?
Yes.
Is he better than, what can't I remember his fucking name? I always forget. Who's the current?
The GCW champion.
No. It's not Ibushi anymore. It's not Ospreay.
Right now, it's Shingo Takagi.
Takagi. Oh my god! I was gonna say Togeda, but Togeda is the guy who can like pass through walls and shit on My Hero Academia. So,
but since we mentioned him, did you hear about what Wrestle Kingdom's doing already? What they announced?
3 nights, right?
Yes, it's 3 nights. But what they're doing is first night, Will Ospreay versus Shingo. Night 2, the winner of that match faces Will Ospreay.
Wait, I know
Okada versus Ibushi.
What?
Okada.
What, Geno?
Okada. I'm just kidding. I'm trying to remember. So it's night 1 is Shingo Takagi versus Okada, and the winner of that faces Will Ospreay the next day.
All right, I don't like that. What happens the third night?
Will Ospreay's good. I don't know what they're doing on the 8th. They haven't said what they're going to do if there's going to be a world title match on the 8th, but we know the first and second night's main event is 2 world title matches.
I would say skip it. I don't think I have any interest. I don't like Ospreay. I don't like it. Show me some good Ospreay matches. Maybe he'll win me over. I've watched a few of them, and he's always outshined on everything I've ever seen him on. Like, I watched that show, and I know he was injured, but if I could say this for the 1,000th time, I watched that match between Jeff Cobb and Okada, and I thought this is what New Japan should be. Like, constantly this. Like, I loved that match. Okada versus Naito. Like, some of these matches are so good, and then Ospreay is just coming out here, like, kind of doing a bad Cody Rhodes impression.
Again, I can see that, even though, again, as a little side note, Okada did that cutter before Cody did, and yet he was calling it the Cody cutter instead of the Oz cutter.
Wait,
again, small little thing.
Wait, what happened? You just said Okada did the cutter?
That whole springboard cutter that Cody does now, that they call the Cody cutter, that was Ospreay first who did it.
What about Okada? What does he have to do with that?
Not Okada, but I Will Ospreay.
Oh, I was like, what? Okada did it too?
Not Okada. No,
yeah, but
Will
they all
Ospreay
copy DDP anyway. So I mean,
yes, they all did. They all steal the cutter.
Yeah.
But again, so what I'm saying is that with Okada's great, and again, him and Shingo will be a great match. At least night 1 will be good for you. Him and Shingo gonna probably tear the roof down, depending on what else we have, because we could still see because I didn't watch the tag tournament how that went.
Where's Jonah? Why are you Jonah?
Now Jonah is a good wrestler right there that we could see in maybe the junior heavyweight.
Settle down. Junior heavyweight's got to weigh 200 pounds. Jonah weighs like 500.
Oh, you mean he's fighting Moose?
Who is?
Jonah.
In New Japan?
Yes. Jonah showed up at Battle in the Valley facing face-to-face with Moose.
Was that an America show? I thought that was in Japan.
Yes. Fight in the Valley.
Yeah, I don't know. Japan can have valleys?
It's LA.
Which valley? San Fernando or San Gabriel?
You could pull it up yourself. You can see the results.
No, it was in Japan, Geno. You can pull it up for yourself.
It was in America.
This guy Googles everything, and then he's like, oh, no, pull it up for yourself.
Fine, I'll pull it up for you.
I don't even care anymore. Before we go, I want to run through Full Gear real quick. I watched it. You watched Full Gear, right?
Yes, I did.
Was the MJF Darby match as good as everyone pretends it was? It wasn't that good, was it?
It was.
It was what?
It was good.
Was it the match of the night?
No.
Was it better than Bryan Danielson versus Miro?
No.
Was it better than the Lucha Bros versus FTR?
Yes.
All right, interesting. I love that tag match. I know everyone in the group chat was like, fuck this match. This is boring. People were hating it. And I was like, oh, this is great. Like, I had to mute the chat. I had to close that window. I was like, I'm just going to watch tag wrestling the way the good Lord intended it to be. What'd you think of that false count anywhere with the Young Bucks? That was kind of a waste of time, right?
I don't think it was a waste of time at all. This really helped solidify Jungle Boy having more guts and able to actually showcase more character than just smiley, happy to be here, good guy.
What about Cody Rhodes and Pac? That was a pretty sweet tag match, huh?
The story they were telling was interesting because they wanted to really try to get Cody over with the fans.
No, they were telling a different story. It was about Stardust, and he used to hate Neville because everyone thought Neville was like a Mighty Mouse superhero. So it was about them putting aside their differences and coming together. You watched the match, right?
Yes, I did watch the match, and it was mainly about Cody and Pac. And then after the match, where we found out that the Pinnacle's deal with Andrade still kept going on for another week, that he still paid him off for one more for FTR to intervene.
Yeah, Stardust. Right?
Stardust was not involved.
Britt Baker versus Ty Conti was kind of a snoozer. Hate to admit it. I love Britt Baker.
That was a good match.
It was fine, but I don't know. This pay-per-view was weird. Like, it started off like banger, banger,
Poor
banger.
kids are just as bright and just as talented as white kids.
Thank you so much, The Missing Link, for casting an on-fire thing. This is amazing. So, yeah, I don't know. It was kind of like the flow of the show was weird. It felt like we got
to just as bright and just as talented.
Thank you so much, The Missing Link. A Randy Orton spell. He's beautiful. No, just from watching the show, I felt it was like a little weird. Maybe it was that Falls Count Anywhere match because weren't they tagging each other?
Kind of at first, but then
Yeah.
it was just false kind of.
When it started and they were tagging each other, I was like, this is the most WCW bullshit ever. Like, it was so sloppy and, it seemed like a good idea. We can't just have a regular 6-man. That's not pay-per-view worthy. Let's do Falls Count Anywhere. How does that work? I don't know. We'll figure it out when we get there. So I don't know. From that moment
they
on,
ended up telling a good story.
And then even the Punk and Kingston match, like people were losing their shit.
That was match of the night.
Really? Snoozer for me, dude. I had no interest in this match. And I know I'm not a Punk guy. Like the whole promo package, the build up, the blood, I just kind of like, all right, I get it. You know, it was all right.
Did you hear, again, since you're talking about like build up, did you hear that little video that was exclusive to like the countdown where Eddie Kingston was talking about a dream he had before his match with Bryan?
Yes, I do remember that.
That was amazing. It's showing that Eddie is the best.
But
and
then,
Eddie, again, that what really helped me motivate to like this match is what should steal the show, and it did, even though Eddie did get hurt.
Yeah.
And Eddie still was able to complete this match and have the story be told the way it should be told.
And that damn bell had to ring for me. That's all I could think was like, this is a lot better on paper. Like, this is a cool backstage fight. This is a cool, like, we're yelling at each other. But then it's also like, maybe that's how I am with like almost every Kingston match, where the dude is such a good promo and such a great character. But once the match happens, I'm missing some. Like, if he was a little more yoked, I would take this a little more seriously. I don't know.
Did you ever, since we're talking about Eddie, and I kind of want to talk about this, did you ever watch him and Chikara?
Yes.
Like his whole big story with him and Claudio, which I thought was maybe the best story Chikara ever did.
Yeah, well, I watched highlights of that. I watched one of his matches in Chikara because there was a time where they brought him into Ring of Honor or something. Like they made a big deal. He was fighting like Kevin Owens and Kevin Steen. So I'm so sorry. He was fighting Kevin Steen in Ring of Honor, and they like brought him in like a legend in Chikara, and I was like, I have no idea who this guy is. And then he talked a little bit, and I was like, okay, let's check this guy out. So I saw some of his stuff in Chikara. So yeah,
yes, and like in the whole story, again, to me, he's probably one of the best mic skills in all of wrestling.
Oh, 100%. Like, he would crush promo class. Like, if Dusty Rhodes was around, all right, cut a promo about this. He's really good at it. We watched him cut a promo on a cookie. So, like, yeah, we know. But that damn bell has to ring. And
I don't think he's ever been like bad in the ring. There's never like a actual bad Eddie match.
No,
Eddie Kingston is
he's
good
okay,
in the ring.
He's okay. I don't know. He's like a Rodney Mack to me. It's like, all right, a match happened. It's not necessarily like he blew me away with his in-ring skills. He really is a punch guy with a great character. So we want to see the match. We like that the buildup is there. But even when he fought Moxley, I thought, why is Moxley? What are we doing? This is a weird pay-per-view main event.
But again, like that main event, remembering that was another to me amazing match because again the story they were telling in the ring, and also just again Eddie I've always been a fan of because I was watching him in Chikara, and especially that whole Claudio story with BDK and how Claudio became like the leader of it, and having this whole thing where where Eddie would not respect Claudio because he knew something that no one else knew, that being that he's a wolf in sheep's clothing and is this garbage person. And then that same night, he turned out to be part of BDK.
Yeah, but then I'm just saying the bell has to ring at some point. Like, you're telling me everything. Yes. You're giving me like amazing storyline and amazing storytelling. And I agree. This dude is a great talker. But the bell rings, and I watch a guy in combat pants and a skin-tight singlet, like wife beater looking thing, and come out and wrestle. And even against CM Punk, who's not even like a body guy, every time I see it, I go, okay, CM Punk looks like he's ready to compete. Like, Eddie looks like he's in the 24/7 division. Like, all right, like, you know, that's where he would be if he was in WWE. He'd be rolling up R-Truth every Monday night.
That may be the case, sadly, but again, he's right now in probably the right place for him finally being on TV after all these years, for people to actually realize how good he is.
He was on Impact. What are you talking about?
Impact, sadly, he didn't get the viewership that he deserved.
That one was they were relying heavily on him at that time, and they realized
they were relying heavily on like the OGs and Conan.
Yeah, we need to We need to bring in somebody else to bring some viewers to this company.
And that was them bringing like, here's the original, like the OGs. Then we had that storyline. That's what they really were like, hey, he's not doing it for us. We gotta do it with Conan and LAX.
Yeah, we need
And have that
Conan
big
in
feud.
here. We need a real talker. So I agree with you, Gino.
Have the
Good call.
two of them feud, because that was actually a good feud too. LAX and the OGs.
I barely even remember the Minneapolis street fight. I hate Men of the Year, by the way. It's confirmed. They're like my least favorite thing.
Man of the Year,
Go on,
great.
catch the buzz, feel the sting.
Yeah, the mandate, Gino. No, absolutely, Men of the Year is the
The
worst.
their theme song's great. It's an amazing group of two amazing talents. Scorpio
Who?
Sky, who I do feel should be a singles guy, and Ethan Page, who is an amazing tag team guy.
We saw Scorpio as a singles guy. It didn't work.
It did work, and then they just didn't know where to go afterwards. Where he again early on,
Because that
when
means
he
it
was-
didn't work. It just fell flat. Nobody cared.
I cared.
All right, you go to Squared Circle. Nobody liked it.
Yeah, I'm sure there are people that liked it. I'm sure there's people who enjoy Men of the Year.
Gino, I'm telling you,
More
the
than just
people
their
have
great
spoken,
theme song.
okay? I'm telling you, the people all agree.
I think it's those people. I think the people like Men of the Year.
No, nobody likes the Men of the Year. Like, I can confirm that right here. Like, me, Kevin, Nathan, like, everybody hates these guys. My wife, there's nothing redeemable about these two guys. Now, Ethan Page, him and Josh Alexander, very redeemable. Ethan Page on his own has turned into Karate Man, has turned into
So you just go with Karate Man right away. You don't think about All Ego, where he was kind of a cornerstone of Impact. Where again, he was a bigger guy at first, and he was still like have these good working matches. All Ego.
That was
And then
before.
to kind
That
of-
was before the North, though.
Yes.
Yeah, the
He didn't
North
just
was
have to be the North.
The
The
North
North
was
was
his
not the
best
best.
thing he ever did, though. That's I'm trying to say that the North.
I could agree with that, but again, him as singles is not bad. Him trying to have fun and having this
All right,
Karate
well,
Man character, maybe
That
It's
was
not the
bad.
best.
That was so. I'm saying so. I agree with you. All Ego. I didn't really watch that. I remember he was teaming up with, I think, Matt Sydal or something. I saw him wrestle then, and he was bigger. Then I saw the North, and I thought this is an amazing, perfect tag team. Silly Ethan Page, dead ass serious Josh Alexander. Two Canadians who just want to fight. I love it. Perfect tag team. Then they kind of break up because they're losing, and Ethan's coming out being a Karate Man. Terrible. Then we find out he's leaving the company, but he sends in one last piece of work, and it's this terrible Karate Man. He kills Ethan
He
Page.
blames Impact for it, by the way. Remember that? He made his own version of it, which is better.
I bet. I bet it was amazing. And then we move on to, and he's claiming that, by the way. Meanwhile, everyone else has said, no, that's the one he sent. And then we go to AEW. He does a little spot with Jake Roberts in that match. He has a match on TV where they're playing basketball audio. He just, I don't know. It has not worked. I was mad at him so he's another example of somebody leaving Impact. I'm like, dude, we have the North. The North is amazing. And even if we don't have the North, we have you trying to imagine a heel turn after Josh wins that belt. Like, screw you, Josh. We were a tag team. You wanted to go solo. Fuck you. And amazing stories to be told. Instead, he's throwing Darby Allin down some stairs. He's hanging out he's doing that thing where he's very low on the card, even though he main evented here because of Jericho. And I need to dress in expensive shirts. I need to wear fancy clothes because I want to seem like a bigger deal than I am.
And he is. He's a bigger deal than people make him out to be because he is a really good professional wrestler. Again, him and Scorpio Sky are the two guys that brought Sting back into the ring. That was his first match back in wrestling, was against Scorpio Sky and Ethan Page.
Didn't he do the thing with Starks and Cage?
Sting, I don't believe, was in that match.
He was.
where he
Yeah,
actually
they did that.
tagged
They did that.
I thought it was with Ethan.
No, they taped that weird ass fight. You don't remember that?
That was a fake wrestling match.
Yeah, but we all either way. So you're saying that's
A real wrestling
That's
match
an
where it was, like,
accomplishment
live.
for Scorpio and Ethan was, hey,
Yes,
we're gonna
that's
get beat up by.
respect that they would give.
We're gonna convince the 65-year-old to come out of retirement to beat us. Like, that's cool for them.
But they got some big, again, heat on Sting by actually beating him up and almost winning. There were multiple times during that match where they could have won.
They had
Or
minimal
should've
heat at the best. It was we were excited to see Sting. Unfortunately, it was against these two guys. Like I know that like your argument is no, he's a good wrestler. Then show it to me. Like I haven't seen it since coming to AEW. Neither one of these guys have been impressive. Now Scorpio Sky, again, like Ethan Page, was part of a really good tag team. SCU was outstanding, the first tag team champions in the history of AEW. So, like, why are we doing that? We break them up for seemingly no reason. They don't have like a big breakup. I don't watch Dark. I don't watch Being the Elite. And then you have Ethan Page, who leaves an amazing tag team, comes to AEW, and with these two, and this is why I always say AEW is too crowded. You really need to do something to stand out. Those two guys didn't do anything, and now they're just kind of thrown into a tag team, and now we have to pretend that they're like MMA fighters.
Well, at least they're with MMA fighters, and some of them do have, again, some background, like actually Ethan Page does have karate background.
But does Dan Lambert give a shit about, like, why are we pretending that they give a shit about that? Like, just, well, it's got to make sense somehow. And even Scorpio Sky there even said, like, I guess he has had a legitimate MMA fight in his life. So, like, yeah, sure, he's done that. So, but Ethan Page hasn't done that. He's, what, a black belt in Taekwondo? You can get that online.
That's not what you... Yes, you could, but that's not how Ethan Page did it. Ethan Page actually did go through karate.
When he was a kid or what?
His adult life.
Did you watch that on Julian or whatever?
Yeah, played by Julie. Yes.
I don't know. I know that you really like these guys. I think I'm speaking for the rest of the room when they're never on TV anyway. It's kind of nice that they're not on TV. We got to hear it. What did you think of their promo? Wasn't it terrible? He's broken in half.
Wasn't the worst, but there's worse promos.
But that doesn't mean theirs was good. Give it a letter grade.
It means it's not the worst. I would give it a C.
No, dude, it's a D. It's terrible. I might even give it an F. Like it's still bad. Just because it's not the worst doesn't mean I want to see it on TNT, TBS, or on pay-per-view. Like,
see, here's the thing. I grade on a curve because I know the worst. I remember when I first saw years back Jumpin' Jeff Farmer.
So, but this isn't fair then. You watch a lot of wrestling, so clearly it's like, well, this is clearly dog shit. Where it's like someone who watches only good wrestling looks at the wrestling on the good wrestling and like, oh, I just watched, Bryan Danielson, Kenny Omega, Jungle Boy, all of this stuff has been really good. Now I'm seeing something that's really bad. So I'm calling it out. Like this on AEW is the worst thing. It's easily the worst thing. I'm not watching Jumping Jeff Farmer and Steamboat Willie Stacks. Like, I don't know what that is. I don't watch GCW. I don't watch CZW. I only watch what they're giving me. And based on this product.
Go on, catch the buzz, feel the sting.
Thank you, Wald Linkstein. I appreciate that. Based on this product, AEW, they're two of the worst guys. Easily.
Maybe to what you believe in. I could see that perspective, but also just like, Jumpin' Jeff Farmer is not a GCW guy. He's an old school wrestling guy. He was fake Sting.
Cool.
So look, just letting you know that's thing. You probably don't know the small things that Jumpin' Jeff Farmer was fake Sting, bogus Sting, NWO Sting, whatever you want to call it.
I don't who MJF, Darby Allin, Lucha Brothers, FTR, Bryan Danielson, Miro. This card is loaded with amazing talent.
Yes.
And then we get to Scorpio Sky and Ethan Page.
Yes.
They're not on that level at all. If you ranked all the wrestlers on this card, they're on the bottom.
Not the bottom.
Who would be below them of everyone I just named?
Everyone you named, well, you forgot one name. That's Ty Conti.
I would put Ty Conti above both these guys.
I sadly would still put her below them because I see her and I see how good she is. But I also, sadly, again, my mind remembers NXT. And she was not that great, so I still remember. Does
your mind remember Dr. Shelby with Scorpio here? What is this? Like, why does that matter?
Not Dr. Shelby. He wasn't wrestling. She actually wrestled NXT.
Yeah, he was sitting there. He was doing it backstage, being a terrible character.
That was a great character because he gets messed up multiple times. That was a great character. He knew how to act.
It was terrible. Absolutely terrible. And I can't forget it. So that's why I hate him so much. And Ethan Page was a fat guy and I hated him. Like, no, I saw him team with Matt Sydal and they lost to Willie Mack and Rich Swann. So clearly he sucks. So the reason Ty Conti, and you do this to me, Chris Jericho in 2021 isn't as good as Scorpio Sky. Ty Conti in 2021 is better than Ethan Page in 2021. Better than
I
Ethan
don't
Page in
believe she is.
2019? Probably not. But we're not in 2019.
Again, 2021, I don't think she's better.
She's amazing, dude. You just don't like women wrestlers. That's what I'm learning. None of the women wrestlers are good enough for you, huh?
I've talked incredibly highly about Mercedes Martinez and Deanna
Poor
Purrazzo.
kids are just as bright
Yeah.
and just as talented as white kids.
Hell yeah, Mana is real. You like the ones that like nobody likes. Like if I bring up Mickey James, it's like, oh, she's the worst. Figure Ty Conti, all these women are being overpushed. Like you like Tamina, you don't really care. What's your thoughts on Bianca?
Bianca's really good.
Okay,
I don't like the way she's being used in WWE, where she's being pushed because of, I would think, because of public opinion and the whole BLM kind of movement that still is going to be going on. I can see that, and I'm understanding. I'm fine with it, but like I really liked her in NXT.
Can I be a cis white guy and says that's bullshit? Like I think that she was gonna win that Royal Rumble anyway. I think that she was gonna be a star anyway. Like she's great. Just because she's like I know that the BLM era made us look at everybody's skin color and go, oh, they can't be champion. But at the same time, she's outstanding she almost won that Royal Rumble the year before.
But at
anyway.
the same time, when I look at that, and again with them trying to be culturally focused on like global localization, as Nick Khan calls it. Again, when I see again that they chose it to be Sasha and Bianca, I was like, that's kind of focusing on possible political beliefs, at least like public opinion beliefs of Black Lives Matter. Having the two black women main event night one and just say, hey, they main event at WrestleMania.
I don't know. You don't think they earned that legitimately?
They did, but I also can see that perspective too, and I kind of believe that perspective is
weird.
Maybe
I don't know.
they have
I bet I know you're probably not alone in that, but I looked at it as these are the two top women on SmackDown. Like it just made sense that was the match that they were building towards. And the fact that it was the main event was a little odd. Like I thought clearly it was going to be the Drew McIntyre Bobby Lashley match, but once they did that first, it was like, oh, clearly we got to do this women's match. But none of me was like, oh, it's because they're black they're getting this spot. Now I've said that about other people and other scenarios, but I didn't think this one at all. This one's like I can't make the argument any other way. Like these two, they were outstanding, so I can't do that for them. But I think the Nyla Rose thing is absolutely like hey, we're trying to virtue signal. We want people to know that we're a company that believes in this and is okay with this. Like I watch Nyla Rose matches and I'm like, this is a terrible wrestler. Why are we pushing Nyla to the moon? And why is she one of the highest paid people? Like it makes no sense to me.
Well, here's something to keep in mind, that if that's their perspective and you believe that, why, again, in that same vein, if you remember not too long after, like they had a tournament, the Eliminator tournament for the world title.
I was so annoyed.
And do you remember Kenny Omega versus Sonny Kiss?
Yes, I do remember that.
Gets buried. And they just felt like this is going to be a long-term story. We were hoping that this is going to lead to something. And it never led to anything. Sonny Kiss just gets buried because Kenny Omega. And they didn't do anything with trying to build up Sonny Kiss. So again, Nyla Rose, that's one thing. You could be getting a pass, but Sonny Kiss, no.
But I think there's a significant difference there where Nyla is wrestling in the women's division as a man, whereas Sonny Kiss is born a man, claims to be gender fluid, so still wrestling a man. I think there's a big difference there.
I can see that it would be, and I can agree with that perspective. Again, gender fluid people also should be shown more like respect as well. Just like Nyla being champion now against any case is like not even in any title picture.
Well, and I don't think Nyla should be. I don't think Nyla is that good in the ring or that good on the mic or that good of a character. It really is just we have a big, like we present her as a big lady, but really it's like this used to be a guy. Like imagine Nyla as a man wrestler. She'd be one of the worst ones. Like, I mean, the matches that she has aren't that. She almost killed Riho with that knee that she doesn't seem to do anymore for some reason because she's killing people. But I look at Sonny Kiss, and Sonny Kiss did have a really good match with Cody. So we can't just say, oh well, Sonny never got a push. But that whole Kenny Omega thing was to. I know that unfortunately for Sonny, it was to push Kenny as I'm done goofing around in a tag team. It's time for me to win the belt. So I think that's why that happened. I just think that Sonny Kiss was the who else were we going to put there? Janela. He already beat Janela.
Yeah,
he already beat
Should've done
Janela.
it again. Do it twice. Having that Joey had to replace Sonny because they're close friends, and Sonny just couldn't make it to the match.
Also,
I
don't mean to be this guy, but the gender fluid thing. Come on, it's a guy. It's Sonny Kiss. Like it's a guy.
At least respect their decision that they do. At least don't consider themselves to be gender, and they are fluid. You could just say they.
Just
keep saying her and him.
Like I'm okay with your decisions until it's like, well, no, you're saying the wrong things now. Where it's like, no, they them means that there's two people there. There's multiples of one. Like gender is still based on like I've said this before, Geno. You can't just cut your dick off and wear a dress and call yourself a woman. Like women are born differently. They have ovaries. They menstruate. They have like there's so many things that go into being a woman. Same with being a guy. Like when you grow a dick, that doesn't just mean you're a guy now. Like there's a lot of differences between the two genders. So I understand hey, let's just placate and let's just say, hey, they, them, right? But then when does that end? I brought it up with Geezy earlier tonight where it's like, oh, well, Zay, Zer, and Z, like people are getting weird with it now, Geno. I understand. Like Sonny, what I love about Sonny is.
Come on, catch the buzz, feel the sting.
Thank you, Odd Lang Syne. What I like about Sonny is on Jericho's podcast, she doesn't care. Like, it's just whatever you do, like, it doesn't bother me. You do you. Just don't be rude about it. And it's like, yeah, I can do that. I can deal with that. I think it's different when people come at you and say, no, you better call me this. It's like, well, hold on. Like, you're asking me to ignore everything that I've been, like, taught my entire life, what science has. Like, that's where my issue with it comes in. I know it's easier to just go, oh, let them do whatever they want. But like as soon as you're raising your own family and as soon as you're trying to do certain things, it really is like, I don't know, dude, this might be a problem. We're the only country that has non-binary on passports now.
That's very interesting. But again, yes, the Sonny thing, again, at least that they are fine with people saying pronunciation as long as they are respectful, and that's how people should be. Is like Sonny Kiss, because maybe Sonny Kiss does have preferred pronoun, but again, she's understanding as long as you don't discourage her.
What are her preferred then? Because I've heard. I
don't know if she actually has
because he also refers to himself as a guy. Like that's the thing. I mean, it's still a man. There's a penis there.
Yes.
Like it's born man, wants to compete with the men, has kick-ass matches with the men. I mean, It goes both ways. The only reason that we say she is because we think that she's hot, right?
I would assume so. At least that we see them as kind of flamboyant or
super hot, right? You would.
No.
Oh, come on. I can't name a wrestling fan who wouldn't. I think we're all, come on. We all definitely would. We see Sonny out there shaking that thing. We don't care.
I'm sure some people do.
I'm sure all the people. Go ask the people. Tell them about, you're always telling me about the people. Get on Squared Circle Reddit and just say Sonny Kiss, would you? And put a question mark on it and then give me the results. Put it on a poll.
I could do that, but we do still have a few more matches also on this card to discuss.
Like what?
Full Gear.
Oh, we covered it all. We got it, Geno. Adam Page is the greatest champion of all time. We have a poll to discuss. You're right. We have to figure out what we're watching on Thursday because I'm pretty sure we're watching. I said that I was not going to tip the scale.
Yes, you said you were.
But when I saw the results, I saw these results and I just thought, oh God, I don't want to watch Taboo Tuesday. I don't want to watch. NXT was winning, I think, is what I saw, and I thought, oh,
it was tied.
Who wants to watch NXT? I was like, we just watched NXT. There's no need to watch another NXT, and I had to put a kibosh on that because I know that we just watched NXT, but I do not want this to be the Vleeties and Geno watch NXT. I was like, no, we just watched this like a year ago. I've never seen a Bloody Mania, not all the way through at least. we have to watch. Gino, you're a juggalo. We have to dive into this culture because I did a whole like 2 weeks of podcasting about juggalo culture, and you never raised your hand and said, "Hey, I'm down with the clown." Hey, I love Hell's Pit. Didn't really like Shangri-La much. Like all these things, I have all these questions, and here you are, you're not living open like Sunny Kiss.
Yes, that may not be again because like I still enjoy the music, but yeah, I'm not as much into it as I used to be.
That's what
when I
every
was in high
juggalo
school.
says. That's fine. What are your preferred juggalo pronouns?
There aren't.
Oh, okay. I was wondering. I was like, do I call you a juggalo? You're not a juffalo, right?
No.
Okay. See, I know juggalo culture mainly from Jim and them, so this is going to be great. I have so many questions. Like the best thing you said was, "Have you ever listened to Twisted?" Like, because only a juggalo would ask anybody that ever. Like, because no other people know what Twisted is. I only know it from the Jim and them, the ICP stuff. I've listened to a little bit. I've thought, okay, this is like a worse version. But people like juggalos say, no, Twisted is the good one. ICP are the sellouts who suck now. Twisted's the best. Am I right?
To an extent, but also now with how it's changed, Twisted is not as good as they used to be.
What?
Changed.
Are you saying Magic Ninja Entertainment is not as good as Psychopathic Records?
Yes.
Oh, wow. See, this is fascinating to me. And I know nobody else gives a shit, but I'm fascinated by it. So I tipped the scale and I said,
yes,
we got to watch Juggalos. Like, I probably would have just called in sick on Thursday if we had to watch NXT. I was like, no, come on. Another NXT show. Let's watch something different and fun. JCW, Bloody Mania, Gino. Have you watched Bloody Mania 5?
I mean, this is 5. That was 6.
I got 5 on the poll here.
Got 5 on the poll. I have not watched.
Oh, thank goodness. It's going to be fresh for both of us. It's also fun to watch like the guys who are not in WWE at that time. Like they're not in WWE. They're not in Impact. You're like, hey, Carlito. I know Carlito. Like it's really the indies. We might even see Ninja Mac. You love Ninja Mac.
Listen, Ninja Mac is good in GCW today. Like I remember there was a JCW, I think it was Bloody Mania, that had Shane Mercer lose to Congo Khan.
See, awesome though. That's a cool match that exists out there. We might find that little nugget somewhere, like because JCW has their own talent pool, but they also like we're just pulling from the indies. So it was kind of a unique. Hey, we're pushing these shitty guys like the Weed Man and Too Tough Tony and Corporal Robinson and whatever. But then also on the card is Bobby Lashley. So I can't wait to watch this, Gino. This is going to be a hoot.
Yes, it will be a hoot for the people who may not actually know or even follow JCW, or even watch older JCW.
This is for the people, Gino. The same people that want to do stuff with Sunny Kiss. All of those people. This is for them. We're doing this one for you. Thursday night, trovo.live/Vleeties. Subscribestar.com/Vleeties to get the audio version of it. I can't freaking wait, Gino. It's going to be so fun. And then maybe we could watch NXT next week. Oh, the next week's Thanksgiving, huh?
Yes, it is Thanksgiving, I believe. So we could, again, change up the poll and see what we decide.
No, Gino, we have families that we have to hang out with on Thanksgiving. It's important to hang out on Thanksgiving with your. Are you going to go downstairs and hang out with your fam for the first time in a couple weeks?
And I've been kind of hanging out with them like every day off and on.
Hell yeah. Is that why the room's not clean?
Yes, that's been part of it.
You got to clean this room, Gino. Like, doesn't it bother you that the room's not clean?
It doesn't bother me as much. At least like I have spots that are clean that I need for for streaming. I just need a better chair.
Go on, catch the buzz, feel the sting.
Hell yeah, Auld Lang Synes. What do you mean you need a better chair? What's wrong with this chair?
I need this wooden chair is not doing well for my back. It's supporting me. I don't like this wooden chair.
Don't you sit in that chair all day? How do you watch your stuff? Do you lay in bed and watch it?
I lay in bed normally.
Gino, we got to get you out of this room, dude. There's a whole world out there. How many hours of sunlight have you got today?
Probably one.
One? You don't have
just been up a little bit of walking for a little hour.
You went outside for an hour, just walk like a little pitter patter around?
Yeah.
Did you go to the gym?
I cannot. There's no gym nearby, and I currently don't have a driver's license.
Why do you ever? What does that mean? Currently, you don't. What does that mean?
I just have never like really tried to go for a driver's license.
How do you donate plasma? Somebody drops you off?
My stepdad also donates plasma, so when he goes, I go normally.
Does he work? Does he have a job?
Able to. Yes, he does.
Where does he work?
Malachi Black says, look at Geno. Also, why the fuck is Taboo Tuesday losing the poll?
Ha ha ha! We're watching Juggalos, Nathan.
Oh, Nathan, you don't like the Taboo Tuesdays.
He wants to watch Taboo Tuesday. He's like, why is it losing?
Mad.
He thinks you voted for Juggalos. I tipped the scale, and I said, everybody vote for Juggalos. I'm not watching NXT. And now Juggalos are winning. So, Geno, where does he work? How come you don't work with him? You guys can do construction together.
It's not construction. He works at I forget what exactly he does for work, but he also is active duty in the Navy.
Dude,
like he's
that's kick ass. He's active duty in the Navy.
Yes, he's active duty. Forget what the exact term is, but yeah, he's not deployed. So again, just active duty.
That's pretty sweet though.
It's like every other Sunday or Saturday, he does like training.
So when he goes to work, where does he go though?
I forget exactly. I don't really go too much into like work stuff since I don't consider the idea of like home being a place you talk about work.
You are the most fascinating person I've ever met. That's why I keep talking to you. Like you just say things that blow my mind. Like everybody gets home at the end of their workday and goes, "Oh, how was work today, honey? Oh, it was okay. We did this, this, and this. Well, how was your day?"
Some people don't want to talk about it, but I think some people they will just not talk about it.
But I would argue that everyone in the world does talk about it. Like when they get home, how was work today, sweetie? Like haven't you watched Leave It to Beaver? Like that's what we do as human beings is we discuss what happened through. Hey, I haven't seen you in 9 to 10 hours. What have you been doing this whole time? Oh, I've been at work, and we had a couple. We had a couple of scoundrels today down at the old office, but we were able to handle that. I'm starving, honey. What's for dinner? Like that's kind of what we do.
Some people do.
All the people. And we live. You live with this guy. You don't know what he does?
He's done multiple things. He's had different jobs. Sometimes he gets laid off, but again, currently he's had a job for a few years now.
You just blow my mind because you just say like, oh, he's had a job. Like, what does he do? I'm not really sure. Like, it's fascinating. When you guys have dinner together, does anyone ever, what do you guys do?
We don't really have dinner together. It's normally like the time I'm able to like actually spend up there with them is either like during the morning.
Up there? Wait, what do you mean? What does that mean?
I live in the basement.
You're in the basement, Geno. This makes so much sense. See, This is the good stuff. I hate talking about wrestling. I don't know why I watch Raw. Raw is the worst. It's like I'm talking to somebody who's in a basement who loves wrestling so much, but goes outside for like an hour a day just to make sure it's still out there. Geno, there's a whole world. Like we can shape you into, like you could be the next Scott D'Amore. Like, don't you want to be Scott D'Amore?
I would love to be Scott D'Amore, except like the early days of Team Canada where he would get really messed up.
Yes, Geno, you could take a bump. You're able-bodied.
Maybe. I'll need to see how it goes and if I do eventually go into wrestling training, but who knows?
Dude, you should do it. How come Nathan's thing didn't play? Nathan just got home from work. He was processing and cutting orders today. Look at him go. Geno, we talk about work everywhere we go, my friend. Like we're all movers and shakers. Don't you follow The Rock on Twitter? That fucker won't stop talking about work.
Yes, I know he won't, but again, I'm one of those people where again I come home from work, I'm just like the work day is done. I don't want to talk about work. I'm just done. It happened. It was time that passed that I'll never get back.
You'll never get back.
See, this constant forward motion that'll never end.
That's the thing, Geno, is you need to find something that you love doing, that you're passionate about, that you're like, no, I don't want to stop talking about work because I love my job. You got to shark your life. Don't you listen to Chris Van Vliet?
I've been listening to
Poor kids are just as bright and just as talented as white
Look
kids.
at Nathan. He's even giving us mana. He's saying that mana is real. Samoa Joe is training. Do you think he hates talking about work?
Go on, catch the buzz, feel the sting.
I'm not entirely sure. I'm sure he hates that he can't work.
Braun,
because he's just been off television.
Yeah, he's hurt. I mean, what can he do? Geno, I'm just saying. Look, I got an easy spell from Nathan. Like, this is so fun. We're having a good time. I wanted to end 15 minutes ago. We're still talking because you fascinate me. Because it's literally like you don't want to work. Like, I get that. Like, nobody wants to work. But when you find something that you like, but don't you like having money? Don't you want to have that independence? Like, hey, I'm moving out. I got my own shit.
Eventually I'd want to do that again, but when I tried before, there was a whole situation as I discussed with roommates. So,
well, you don't even need a roommate to move out. There's lots of people that move out and just live on their own.
Yes, I could, but here in Georgia, with the place that I could work at or work for, I would not be able to afford living on my own.
Like, so,
and still be able to get to work on a reasonable like time frame where I'm close to that possible workplace.
So, to find this job, like, that's the thing, is like, we have to find like a career that you know you're going to be making good money at, something that you enjoy doing, that you're going to be there for a long time. Like, because every time you tell me about work, you do name places that I commend the people that work there, because it does seem like much harder than what I do. But when I hear like Chipotle, Walgreens, like these are hard minimum wage laborious jobs, not really long-term careers. Was there ever like a place in your life where you kind of thought, I'm going to have this career for the rest of my life? Have you ever thought about like, oh, I want to do this, or I want to try this out?
No, it's mainly just been jobs to try to get paid.
Why do you
Malachi Black says, I fucking hate my job, but I need money for the mortgage, bills, food, and money.
See, you need that money. Like Matt Stryker told us earlier. Like, Matt Stryker knows you got to eat that money. So that's what I'm saying. Like, you just never, it was just jobs. I need to pay the bills, or I just need to get money, because I assume that you're like, with the plasma money, that's not going towards bills, is it?
Go on, catch the buzz, feel the sting.
A chicken winner. See this?
Currently not so much, since it's not much I'm getting to really help out with this household like I would want to.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying, Geno. We got to get you a career, dude. Like, what can you see yourself doing?
I have no clue, man. Besides, the only thing I could see myself doing, if there's a form of career for it, is like this discussion, talking.
Well, so how come you don't have? Why don't you have a podcast then? Like, even just like, you don't need me. Like, you can literally, you're at home all day. You can do, not even on video. You can just do.
Catch the buzz, feel the
sting.
sting.
A Bravo spell from Spliff Master. Thank you, Spliff. You could do a podcast. Like, I've even talked about, I don't know if you heard the Vleeties short, but I've even talked about doing like an hour-long just Vleeties solo show, playing some lo-fi and talking.
Malachi Black says, why don't you back to college and take a class, Geno?
College, Geno?
And I wouldn't mind the idea of college, or at least trade school.
Trade school, dude. These are all ideas that everything we're saying, you could do tonight. Like, that's what's so cool about 2021. You can do all this right now. Like, what are you going to do when we log off?
Probably go to sleep.
Hell yeah, that's what I'm going to do. I got to be up in like 6 hours. So we did it, Geno. What an amazing episode of Vleeties 2.0. I mean, the hits just keep on coming. This is an amazing discussion. We go so deep. We talked WWE. We talked Impact. Talked a little AEW. Talked a little Will Ospreay. And then we talked about sharking our lives at the end, because somehow we got from Nyla Rose to Sunny Kiss to this. So luckily we made it here. So we got some fun stuff happening this Thursday. We're going to be watching the Juggalos. Maybe, Geno, don't you listen to the music? The Dark Carnival is about being successful and sharking your life and looking at yourself from the outside. Like, did I make the right decisions? How do I get to Shangri-La? You don't want to go to Hell's Pit.
Some of what it's about, but there's more to it than that. At least I feel, at least what each album tries to tell.
All right, well, let's go through them all right now. Number one was, what was number one? Carnival of Carnage?
Yes, Carnival of Carnage.
Dude, that carnival comes to town. It brings the ghettos into these rich neighborhoods. And it just reminds people that, oh, you think you're amazing and you're rich and blah, blah, blah. Well, this is the real world, man. This is the shit. And then what was number two? Riddlebox?
No, I think two was Jekyll Brothers.
No, Jekyll Brothers was after Malenko.
Or maybe Riddlebox. Yeah, Riddlebox would be, yeah.
Don't make me know all the cards, my friend. I don't remember what the Riddlebox was for. It was like you crank the thing, and once it opens, you're either going to get, I can't remember. But I remember Great Malenko, though, was like Hall of Illusions. You know, you're looking at like what your life could have been, but if you're a scumbag, you fuck it all up, and here's reality. And what you're about, your wife can't smile because you knocked her teeth out. See, I'm a juggalo.
You at least know some songs.
Hell yeah, I'm the most juggalo ever right now. Like I've never been more juggalo. But Great Malenko is the perfect. Listen to that album, Gino. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Okay, trying to tell you that you need to look at yourself from the outside. Are you happy with who you've become, or are you going to leave behind a better legacy? That way, when we meet the amazing Juggle Brothers, and one of them's a trickster and one of them's a cool guy, we make sure we hang out with the cool one. And then, Gino, when we get to Bizarre Bazaar, we skip over that because that's not a card. But we get to the Wraith, and we're like, oh my gosh, I want to go to Shangri-La, not Hell's Pit, because I want to hang out with my Juggalo homies. I don't want Love in My Room right now, because Love in My Room sounds terrifying.
I think Love in My Room sounds amazing sometimes.
But no, she wasn't real, and he killed all those people. You need to listen to that song.
Yes, I did listen to the song, but that's what's interesting is that entire experience. It gets she wasn't real, but the desire was real.
Gino, that's why it's a bad thing. Like you have to add all the cards together. Are you going to get trapped by the desire and the non-real women? And you're like, oh, that sounds awesome though. Even though I killed all those people, I killed that cat because you won't come back. Why won't you come back? Like, Gino, I know I listened to all the cards. Okay, I know what the Dark Carnival's about. It's about becoming a businessman. It's getting on Shark Tank.
Maybe it is. We've just never seen ICP do it.
ICP did it. Are you serious? They've
never been on Shark Tank.
They have shoes. They have backpacks. That's what I mean. They're still venture capitalists in their own right. I mean, they hawk all kinds of merch. People have all kinds of shit. I almost bought an ICP shirt one time. It was around the time of the Wraith. I was listening to Love in My Room and Juggalo Homies, and I was like, this album's the shit. I didn't realize it was 2 albums, by the way. I'm a fucking idiot. And I was like, dude, these Juggalo guys are pretty cool. Do a little research. I'm like, all right, this is a weird thing. And then I just never listened to them again. I was like, all right, I'm going to go back to listening to Limp Bizkit and Korn.
Yeah, since they would be around the same time.
Gino, I listened to Limp Bizkit way too long. Like, they were not good when I was still listening to them. People in high school, like, people will message me now, hey, I just heard a Limp Bizkit song and I thought of you. Like, that's not good. That's my legacy. So when I'm the Great Malenko and I'm looking and it's like, oh, look, everybody loves me. And then it's like, back to reality and what you're about. You listen to Limp Bizkit way too fucking long. Right?
Most likely, but again, we're going to need to see where that goes when our lives do eventually end.
It's happening, Gino. We got to do it today. All right, I'll message you in the morning with a whole itinerary. We're going to shark that life, all right? It's time to shark it. You live in the basement and it's not clean. That's why you keep telling me it's not clean yet. It's because it's a gigantic basement. You could have just been honest with me. You actually live in like a warehouse-sized basement, which is what I've been assuming this whole time anyway. So that's totally fine. Maybe you're in the riddle box. Maybe that's exactly what it is. We just got to crank you. We just got to crank you a little bit and get you out of there.
Maybe, and we're just going to see again where that leads as well.
Why are you not admitting that you would do Sunny Kiss? What's this about? What is this it's like a pride thing? Like you're the one telling me we should use they, them pronouns. I'm the one saying, yeah, we would all have sex with Sunny Kiss. And you're like, well, some people would.
And that's thing, some would, some wouldn't. Some would just want Sunny Kiss to just be their friend.
Is that what you would want?
Yes, I would love Sunny Kiss, my friend.
You guys got drunk together. Sunny Kiss starts coming on to you.
I don't know if that would ever happen.
I'm just saying it's like Love in My Room, okay? You don't know if it's real or not. You're just in it. You're like, this is amazing. Sunny Kiss is like touching me. I never thought I would be in this scenario. This is amazing. This is fantastic. Do you stop her?
Yes.
All right, Gino. I'm learning a lot about you tonight. All right, this is a lot. This whole last half hour has been the Geno show. Thank you so much, Gino, for hanging out with me tonight. I hope you had an amazing time. I know I did. Get ready for Juggalo Championship Wrestling Bloody fucking Mania this Thursday. Trovo.live/Vleeties. What are you looking most forward to about getting in?
Splitmaster Sexy says, would you fuck Sunny Kiss tight asshole Gino?
You have to answer.
No.
Oh, you're so weird. I think we all would. Why are you afraid to admit that you would?
Because I would.
You don't want to be gay? You're just like, I'm not going to do that. Is it gay?
I'm just saying I would.
Is it gay? She's gender fluid.
I would assume somewhat, yes.
Who would you do? No. In AEW, who would you do?
Without any repercussions of what I do.
No repercussions on what you did. It's love in your room. You're not going to kill any cats.
Brit.
Okay, I knew you were going to say that. You were worried about Austin, or what's his name? Austin?
Malachi Black says, would you fuck Gigi Dolan's ass?
Would you? Yeah, what about Gigi?
Yes.
So, yeah, okay, good. All right, we're getting some answers out of you now. I was worried. I was like, why wouldn't he answer? Like, Sunny Kiss is gorgeous. I don't know why you hate her so much. Like, she's really talented, very beautiful.
But then there's people like Britt Baker and Gigi Dolan.
And Ty Conti. What about Ty?
Yeah, Ty as well.
What about Ruby Soho?
Yeah.
I know, me too. We're the same. We're juggalos. We can't wait for this Thursday night. I'm excited. Oh, what was your favorite? What are you looking most forward to?
What's on the card? Let's pull up the card.
I don't have time for that, Geno. Just what are you looking forward to?
Let's pull up the card.
Pull it up.
Okay, let me pull it up.
Oh my gosh, I'll pull it up. I'm already here. Bloody Mania 5. I don't want to see the results though. I want to be surprised.
We need to find a way for the card without the results.
I don't want. Let's just watch it. Let's just watch it right now. Bloody Mania 5. I'm just gonna hit play on it and see what comes up first.
You have a supper and dip his nuts in your soup. What is a
Juggalo? You like that song?
Great song.
KG Kevin Gill. What's this match?
Battle follows him in here.
Oh, very
Oh.
nice kick to the face.
Whoa.
Is that MJF?
Sunset flip.
Whoa, one.
Oh.
No, not even
I
one.
don't see. I gotta see on the screen.
Sunset egg.
He may have
There's
very
Kevin
well
Gill.
been.
Oh, that's Colt Cabana.
Is that a marshmallow?
It's a marshmallow or
Oh,
perhaps a
Christopher Daniels.
backing up, setting him up.
Zach
Pulling
Gowen.
that foreign object out of his
Eugene.
taint, it looks like.
Yes.
The winner wins the services
Truth
of
Martini.
Miss 1, 2, 3, son.
That's
Kevin
all.
Gill,
It's
Shaggy
like peanut
Tudo.
butter
In
on
the
a-
pan.
You know, they're not shy about
that
taking
Necro
those
Butcher?
blows to the dome.
Probably.
Pondo and Necro went from being
Mike Mondo, or whatever that guy's name. Pondo, Madman Pondo.
Yeah, Madman Potter. It's not sick Nick Potter.
Is that Rhino? Rhino versus Congo. This is a stack card. I can't wait to watch this on Thursday. This is gonna be so amazing. The people wanted it, and you know what you and I always do. We listen to the people.
Yes, this is all about content for the people.
Content for the people. I'm live tomorrow with Kevin Scampoli. Thank you so much, Geno. Have a good night, my friend. Thank you for everything tonight.
You as well, bro. You have a good night.
Hell yeah. That is Sonic Geno, ladies and gentlemen. Snaps for Geno for being a good sport. We're going to shark his life, okay? Trust me, okay? He has to be sharked. Nobody wants to be sad. We all want to be happy. We're going to get there, okay? This is going to be so awesome. We get to watch. Nathan in the chat saying this is bullshit. Look, this is Juggalo culture, and we're going to dive into it so hard. Nobody wants to watch NXT or Taboo Tuesday when we're going to learn a lot about Geno and Juggalos this Thursday. So, again, thank you, everyone, for coming in and hanging out. Thank you for downloading. And, again, tomorrow night, the whole effing show, I'm going to be there, and you should be there, too. Trovo.live/TWFS. Have a good night, everybody. Good night, Spliff, JT, Malachi, Oddleg, Geno, Ricardio, Gigi Dolan, JT again. Thank you for all the bits, everybody. Appreciate it.